All right, so I want us to pay maximum attention and sure to take notes of all the knowledge you'll be acquiring. In the next 30 minutes, we'll be going to the next section. So each section is 30 minutes. And after the GSPM, which is the goal setting and performance management, we'll be having effective communication skill, which is the ECS. And it's also going to be taken by a professional who is also doing great in the field. She's going to be here to talk to us about it. And one interesting thing about her is that she's very, very excellent. She's very, very excellent in all that she does. So you're going to see her speak to us and hear her as well speak to us. And the last section will be on financial management, which is the FM. And we have a professional, a top-notch professional who has decades of experience in operational systems. He's going to be with us to talk to us on financial management. So please, these are great topics. These are carefully selected for advancement and for our improvement for as individuals and as collective team. So once again, you are welcome, and it's my joy to see that we are doing this at this time. So please make maximum take maximum benefit from everything you're going to be learning today. So without further ado, I'm going to be going straight to Vishtech at a glance. Please once again confirm if you can see my screen and hear my voice clearly, please. Oh, great. Thank you for that confirmation. And just like I was saying the other time, these are the aspects we're going to be touching. Now, we're talking about Vishtech integrated innovation. Please, let's pay attention because this is a core part of what we should know. I believe majority of us already know about this, but it is important that as we are retreating, we are emphasizing on who we are and what we have. So Vishtech integrated innovation, as you all know, is we are the intersection of different sectors, different fields, different professions, different intersects. All right. So we are at a point of intersection where we not just consult, but then we also develop. So we are very, very multitasking in terms of what we do. We build capacities, we grow businesses, we build businesses, we grow businesses, but then we just not leave it at the enterprise level. We also go into individual level of developing capacity. So, and of course, this is a system that was funded this year, precisely February. That was when we decided to make it something worth pursuing, a vision worth pursuing. And of course, it's very important that we let the world know that yes, this is something that was vetted and formed in the cubicle of Nigeria. So our headquarters is in Abuja, Nigeria, and because of our strategic formation, we also have an operational presence here in Cape Town, South Africa. Cape Town is the Silicon Valley of Africa. You want to be in Cape Town one of these days. You would love to be there. You would love to see the beauty, one of the best and one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So we have an operational presence here, and we also hope on advancing on a larger scale, going into the future here in South Africa. So one of the essence of why we have to bring this vision together is to establish and to address Africa's most pressing developmental, technological, and human capital challenges. So please underline the developmental, underline technological, and human capital challenges. And we intend to do that through the integration of engineering, research, digital innovation, and structured capacity building models. So this is important for us to observe and understand because it's going to influence how we work and in all that we do individually here in Vishtech. Okay, this is what we are. This is who we are. This is what we do, and this is how we are doing it. And We cap all I've said into a statement, a vision statement to establish a global network of professionals committed to driving sustainable business growth and human-centered development. And that is through innovation, just like I said the other time, research. Research is a very key part of our methodology, of our method. Okay, we do a lot around research and technology. Why we do all this is to empower individuals. But going beyond individuals, we also grow and contribute to enterprises to succeed. And how we intend doing this is to continue to drive the growth of businesses. So we use all our vast resources to grow businesses. We engage businesses, we engage enterprises, we think for them, we think with them, and get involved in their success story. That's our target. We want them to succeed. And all we do is to apply our skills, our profession, bring in our network, just the way our vision is. We bring together our global network of professionals, and so far so good. We have a good number of professionals working with us at the moment, helping us to working with us to arrive at this vision. And it has been a very great work with the little, space of time we've started doing effective works. Been quite an experience, and the vision is making all sense really. And what we are doing this on a larger scale, going higher, and that's why we are taking this structure, we're taking this framework, we're using this model to advance our systems. So we drive the growth of businesses and individuals. We provide, research-based technology-driven solutions, and we combine this because of the fact that yes, we want to build individuals, we want to raise capacity, we want to impact individuals and businesses through mentorship programs and all. But we know that all this does not come at no cost. It comes with certain costs, and for us to be able to manage and run this operation, we need to generate revenues. And the way to go about this is on the other arm of our system, which is the profitable ventures. So one of the things we do, we run out our services. We offer quite a number of services, which I've been talking about around how we go about what we do. So these are the aspects of services we render, and this is how we generate our revenue to run other part of our mentorship program that we are currently setting up, which we form Vishtech Academy. But then in the future, we are going to have another section where we talk about Vishtech Academy and what it's all intending to do to the Africa ecosystem and the world at large. So why this vision and mission matters to us? So everyone here as a member of Vishtech, as a staff of Vishtech, as a team, as one of our team member, individually, it is important to us because all our staff need to align. All of us working here in Vishtech need to align our personal working system towards a common goal, towards achieving a common goal. We have to align ourselves towards achieving. This does not stop you from pursuing what your career goal is. It does not stop you from pursuing your personal goals. It does not stop you from pursuing your vision, your personal vision. But what we are saying here is we need to come to a central point. We need to come to a central alignment where we all work parallel to each other. Okay, we need to be parallel towards one another, and that is why all of us here, despite different statements we have as our vision, our personal vision and mission, we need to align it for us to be able to function well. It needs to motivate us. It needs to give us a sense of purpose. Maybe for some of us that are still trying to find our bearing around what should be my career trajectory and all. Probably this can motivate you. Probably this can give you a sense of purpose. Probably you can pick one or two things that you can use going forward into your future of work, right? Or career or profession, as the case may be. It also helps us, guide us to make decisions and prioritize our activities, our scope. It helps us to prioritize our decisions, simply put. So this is the essence of our vision, and this has always come through for us. We've had tough times. It's not, of course, the past few weeks have been quite hectic for every one of us. But then because of what we bear, what what we represent as regards to our vision and mission, we tend to go back to the drawing board. We read our statement to ourselves. Personally, this is one of the things I do, and I shared with us now in meetings. Whenever I'm stuck, I'm kind of stressed on a particular issue, I have to go back to the vision and mission statement. I read it over and again. I try to absorb it. I'm trying to regain myself and make a smoother and better decision. And another thing is help us to build a consistent company identity. Just like I said, it will help us to always narrow down how we do our things, maintain our standard, our taste for quality. I think that we can be a witness to this. We will not accept anything less than quality. So this is why we always emphasize on this must be quality and this must be quality on the view. And so the big question now is what we do, what do we even do? I believe some of us, even as team members here, as kind of what are we actually doing? What are we all about? I'm just hearing building system, a system, building capacity. I'm not just okay. I can't even know. Probably with the marketing team, probably might be having issues with getting some of their work done because of certain clarity. And I think this is one reason why we gathered to talk again about this. One of the basic things we build systems that build people. So we are raising system. Everything we do is a system to build people. And when you can build people, you can build nations, you can build businesses, you can build enterprise, you can raise empires, you can do anything when you have empowered people. And this is what we do through our services. So our services include research and development. And what would we do in this unit? We do a lot of surveys for businesses, for product design, for product, of course, for product owners, for product managers. We run market surveys, we do user research system, and everything around. So anything that has to do with survey, we are in for it. Baseline studies, we are in for it. Policy analysis, we are in for it. Impact assessment, we are in for it. Forecasting, we are in for it. So this is what we do. And we don't just leave it at research angle. We also take it to the point of making recommendations, drawing models, drawing frameworks, coming up with frameworks, either theoretical, either industrial, what have the conceptual, we come up with, developmental framework that can be applied to whatever aspect you are requesting for. And one of the things we do also is IT services. We render IT services and digital solutions, where this one core part of our agency, where we do software development, web and mobile app, cloud services, cyber security services, and all, what have you. The list, of course, is longer than that, but we just need to keep things simple on that note for now. Then engineering services as well. This is actually a very interesting part for me personally. This is where we can also engage us on planning, consultancy, renewable energy, feasibility assessment, infrastructure management, and maintenance. And it's interesting to know that is quite my niche. Infrastructure management and maintenance, it's a lot. But then, of course, the section is beyond the scope of this conversation. So, but then, in addition to that, business and brand development as well is actually very cool. I've had conversations with quite a number of people who are prospective partners we've been having kind of conversation on this area. Some of them have some business running and they want certain, services as regarding business growth. So I've been having a kind of conversation. This is what we actually do. Yeah. So if we are asked, what do we do? I think this should give us a good, scope and knowledge of what we do. So this is what we do. We also run marketing strategies. We advise for marketing strategies, brand building. We can help you build your brand, help you grow your business. You can consult us, give you some tips. Can come up with plans for your business plan. Can help you with Gantt chart to manage your project, to see that what you need to take one step at a time. All these graphic representations of what you need to do and all that you have to do, we can help you with that. Capacity building as well is very key for us, and that's one of the things we're doing here. So this is an internal one, and of course we do for external. And on our launch day, we're going to be sharing deeper information about each of these services and some of the things we've done regarding that. So professional development, leadership training, workshops, skill programs, youth empowerment, what have you. We do all these things. In fact, this is one of the things we love doing the most, building capacity across leadership, management, digital literacy, what have you. Then consultancy, all these services, we also consult for them. Advisory services across all sectors to help solve complex challenges is our niche. So now, how can you contribute? What can you do? How you can contribute as an individual, as a member of Vishtech team? What can you do? We all play a pivotal role in uh, this brand, in this organization, in this system. Vishtech is a system of its own. Okay, so and a system that wants to replicate, you know, same, uh, same kind of system across the shores of Africa, across the shores of African continent. So this is a system of its own, and the, one of the ways we can help, we can contribute, we can play our crucial roles is to replicate our core values and culture. And how can we do that? Is to be innovative as individuals. You can't contribute to the growth of a system if you don't have something tangible. And it is a question to all of us. As we continue on this retreat, we need to check ourselves. We need to ask ourselves sincere questions, genuine questions. What do I actually have to offer? And one of the things I enjoy sharing with people is the fact that if you can't find yourself in a system and you feel like the standard of the system is higher than what you have at the moment, it is not a ticket to back off or to leave that system. It is just a call for you to step up. It's just a call for you to add values, to add knowledge. What can you add to your system? What can you add to your own value? To meet up with the demands of that system you have joined. So innovative, you have to be creative in our own ways. We have to be creative, and this is very key for the success of our responsibilities. Integrity is one of our core values. We must work with honesty, transparency, and we have to be accountable. Don't wait till someone, your unit head, we have to keep asking you and reminding you of what to do. No, you should be accountable. You should take responsibility. You should be transparent. You should factor all these things into your own schedule. Whatever you have to do, probably in a week, in a month, align it to your calendar. One of the things I do on my phone is whenever I'm having a task, I open up my phone on my system, open up my calendar, and add them to my calendar so that I get notification 30 minutes or 15 minutes to that particular task or to that particular event. So I don't miss out. So this is one of the things you want to also adopt to your system. It can help you to be, accountable and to be up and doing so that you won't be found wanting and you won't collect strike. Also, collaboration, we have to collaborate. You can't, Vishtech is not a system of island. That is why our vision talks about global network. We are creating a network of leaders, of professionals, of authorities. So you can't just work on your own. You have to act. You have to work with people with like minds, people in your team, people in your sub team. You have to communicate. You have to collaborate, and that's why we'll be talking about effective communication skill later. We have a wonderful, beautiful, guest who will be talking to us on what that is and train us on how to build communication skills, effective one. So excellence, you all can bear witness that I don't joke with excellence. If you are going to be part of Vishtech for a very long time, then it only means that you are a very excellent individual. And this is about driving high quality results for ourselves and for our clients. So empowerment is also very key. We must have that same mindset of empowering people. Whatever you are doing, see yourself in a place of empowerment. See yourself empowering a system. We are empowering Vishtech, we are empowering individuals, public, our clients, we are partners, we are empowering the world, we are empowering Africa. You are adding to the success of someone or a system or a business or an enterprise or whatever, and then sustainability. Whatever you do, come up with system, come up with advice, come up with recommendation that has long-term impact, that can be replicated, that can be replicated over and over again, that can be reproduced over and over again. Don't come up with strategies, don't come up with ideas that does not have, yes, you can come up with it, but then we have to fine tune it so that it has this texture of sustainability, this texture of replication, reproduction for long-term impact across businesses, into the society, into Africa at large. I think this is from core areas that we just need to ensure we embrace ourselves on, revise over and over again. Hopefully, I think that we share this slide with us so we don't have it, on our desk. If possible, print it out and just tag it around your working space, and especially vision and mission statement, and then the core values, how you can contribute, and probably our services for you to just have this fresh reminder in your system, and not to forget what Vishtech is, and what the vision is, what the mission is, what the core values are, what our culture is, and how you can contribute immensely. So this brings me to the end of my talk. And do you have any question? Do you have any burning question? Do you have anything you want to ask me at the moment? Please feel free. You can put on your mic. You can put on your mic, and ask me. So I'm going to just I think everyone has access to speak. So kindly please put on your mic and ask me a question. It's time to question it so that we can bring in the next speaker. Question. Okay. Anybody with question? Looks like nobody has a question. Is it all clear? Naomi, is it clear? Robert, is it clear? Shaya, is it clear? Ephraim, is it clear? Blessing, is it clear? Is there any point that is confusing? Is there any point you need me to re-explain?
No, not from my end, though.
Okay, fair enough. So if you mean not from your end, does that mean it's all understood? It's all clear?
Yes, it's all understood and very clear.
So Naomi, if you are assigned to Kenya next week to go pick Vishtech in a tech conference, would you be able to do that?
Yes, with the knowledge I have from the vision, mission, and mission of Vishtech, yes, I can. And I also make more research, so when I'm pitching, I don't have to break down. Yeah, I give out what Vishtech really means to the world.
So again, are you saying that it will worth the cost of flying you from your current residence to Nairobi? It will worth that cost?
I didn't get that. Can you come again?
Are you saying it will worth the money, the fund that will be used to fly you from Nigeria now to Kenya, Nairobi?
Yes,
It will
it
worth
is.
that fund?
Yes, it is worth it.
All right, great. Okay. Any other person? Question. Great. Thank you for that comment. Question. We are ending up the section. So let's get to it. Question. Okay. So I think there are no questions anymore. So we'll just go straight to the next section now.
I think I have a comment.
Sorry?
I said I have a comment.
Please go ahead, please.
All right. It is important that while I believe the whole house can hear me, it is important that while we're having a meeting like this, we have other people that will be taking other sessions. They are not a part of Vishtech, but they are invited to come here and speak to us. So if we are being asked if we have a question or not, it is good that we unmute our mic. If you don't have a question, you can say, oh, not from your end. Everything is fully understood too. So the person can be sure that yes, we are listening to everything that they are doing. So that's just the comment I have.
Yeah. Thank you, Naomi, for that. Thank you, Naomi, for that. That's just a good thing to do, when you, you know, when you find yourself in a space, as part of the things that hopefully we also learn better when we get to that topic, communication skills. These are just part of the things we should learn. They are simple things. In a meeting, your facilitator is asking you if you have a question, just open your mic. If you don't have, just, oh, yes, I'm cleared from my own side. I don't think I have a question. You just keep mute and then wait for your teacher or whoever is presenting to figure it out. You know, these are part of the projection that we must imbibe in our work system. Yeah, thank you, Naomi, again for that. That's very good. And please let's apply it. Anytime we find ourselves, let's unmute our mic, say something, give a comment. You know, it will not be a question, it will be a thought. It just be a thought, just give it to it. No thought is a waste, no thought is useless. So without further ado, it's a very exciting moment for me because of who we are bringing on board right now. It's very, very excited. It's a big excitement, I mean. And it's a pleasure to introduce Mr. Edidio Willing. I love to call him Peter, Engineer Peter. I love to call him like that. And today we'll be taking us on goal setting and performance management. So a brief profile of our speaker. Edidio Willing is the founder and CEO of Legend File Energy Limited. You must probably come across that brand. And in 2024, he founded Legend File Energy to provide solutions to power scarcity in Nigeria. That's beautiful. Gideon studied chemical engineering at the University of Abuja, Nigeria, graduating as the second best graduating student in his department. He began his career as a graduate process engineer in Nigeria's oil and gas industry, working with EBTS Limited and River Energy. Elidiok is passionate about energy and technology and believes that building a technological ecosystem is key to growing Nigeria and Africa. His vision includes pioneering a hydrogen economy in Nigeria for a sustainable energy future. With Legified Energy, he has focused on PMS to LPG generator upgrade as phase one to help businesses maximize profit and reducing operating costs. Now in phase two, he is developing LPG energy units designed to outperform conventional generators for the energy market. Elidiok loves speaking with people, young minds, and entrepreneurs in Africa to leverage technology for national growth. He strongly believes in the destiny of the continent, and he is happy to play his part to get us there. I am super excited. Please join me and welcome Engineer Peter. Please jam your hands together, with full excitement, full energy. Please welcome Engineer Peter, please. You're welcome, sir. We are so privileged to have you here despite your tight schedule. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ope. Thank you. I hope everybody can hear me and I hope everyone can see me.
Yes, we can hear you.
You can see.
So thank you all so much for inviting me to be part of this magic you guys are creating. I think it's quite a beautiful thing that we have young people who are starting now to make serious effort into taking Africa and taking Nigeria to the next step. Many years ago, it was not possible to imagine that young people could be doing this. Everybody just imagined in your late 30s or in your 40s or when you have grown up. But to see people who are very passionate at a young age start and they are pursuing it with tenacity. Tenacity is you being resilient, you not stopping, you not giving up, and you are still going. It's really, really, really an amazing thing. I would love to really appreciate the CEO, my friend Mr. Okpe, who has, I don't know how this, I just heard about it and I'm really, really glad. I don't know how it was formed and everything he passed through, but I'm very excited to see because it reveals what has been on his heart or what has been on his mind. So I want to really appreciate him for taking out his time, giving his time to God, giving his time to Africa, giving his time to Nigeria, because that's what this is at the end of the day. You want to empower systems within the African ecosystem. And thank you so much for giving your time to that, for also pulling together your team of people. You are not just having them work with you, you're also investing in them. For those of you that are not aware, this session, this capacity building retreat is more or less an investment. All right, so it's a capacity development and a self investment that is investing in you guys, and so that is something to take note of. So it's still impacting lives still today. Thank you so much, Mr. Okay. And I'm so glad to be with you guys. All right, so let's get into it. At any point, if you cannot hear me, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna what's it called? I'm gonna share my screen. So I don't know if my camera is gonna go off or, but let's see. All right, can you guys? Okay, you guys can see my screen, yeah? Oh, Mr. Okpe, your mic is muted. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
When you share the screen, it was making a noise. Is there a sound playing over there?
Okay, probably it's the fan in
Okay, I'll just share for you. Please just share the document with me. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share it now. Just a sec. All right, just give me a sec, please. Working on that. Yep, I'm going to share it shortly.
Alright, that's fine.
Yeah, you can just, I'll share for you from here. Just give me a sec, please. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to fix that now. Yeah, so. Just gonna share quickly for you. Come on, 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 come on. Okay. Okay, it's coming to our screen right away. It's coming to our screen right away. I hope. Okay, yeah. Here we are. Yep. Please, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing the logo rotating or something like that. Vishtech Integrated Innovations logo.
How about now? Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. So, Engineer Peter, it's all yours.
I am okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So today I'll be speaking to you guys on goal setting and performance management. All right. So I want us to have in mind this is a capacity building retreat. All right. So it's meant to enlighten you already. We already have a lot of time taken from the technical difficulties. So today I would just give you a brief introduction, tell you what goal setting is about, the nature of it, tell you a bit of about structure and responsibilities in a team. We'll talk a bit about performance management, have a look at some tools and some frameworks you can use. And then I would show you guys a few cases, like some examples, and we'll look at some of the factors that affect goal setting or achieving a goal. All right. So yeah, you can continue, Mr. Pen. Awesome. So just a brief introduction. I want you to have in mind that the focus for this retreat is to build systems that deliver impact. And so we are going to be as practical as possible to show you guys what works in the real world, the difference between idealism and realism. So we'll be trying to be as realistic as we can. And I hope it's going to be an interactive session where you guys can ask questions. I have a ton of experiences I believe should be able to cover any questions you guys may have. Before we start, I would like to point out that we're going to be looking at both goal setting and performance management from two perspectives: from the perspective of a leader and the perspective of a team member. That is, you're a member on a team, essentially. And although I might not separate them in the slide, but I'll try to give perspective to both. So you see where a leader is supposed to think like a leader and a member ought to think like a member. It's like a parent and child situation. The child will always get angry and say, "Oh, you guys don't care about me. You guys don't want me to go out. You guys don't want this," and complain. But that is because the child is not also seeing it from the viewpoint of the parent. So from the parent's viewpoint, it's not you. If you look from the parent's viewpoint, you realize that although that would have been beneficial for the child, but the parent has to play the role of a parent. So they might be looking at the same situations, but with different mindsets. All right, which is what I want to point out here. All right, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so let's first talk about what goal setting is. Goal setting in the basic form means setting goals in line with a vision that you have in order for you to achieve that vision. All right, that's the most basic definition of goal setting. And I want us to build upon that, all right? So you can go to the next slide. So that means we are creating a trajectory, we are creating a pathway, we are forming a path to accomplish the vision, the goal we have in mind. All right, so since I don't really have much time, I will try to focus on the major things so that we can have enough time for question and answers, because it's going to be more practical interaction than theory. And so we are creating a trajectory and a pathway. So it simply means we are mapping out something. We are drawing a map. We're mapping out the steps to meet a target. And that target is basically a goal. So what does that tell us? What does that mean for us? It basically means that goal setting is a vision-based map. That's just it. It's a vision-based map that is designed to achieve that vision. So it means that every goal you are creating or planning for or whatever is based on that vision. It's based on a vision. All right, in order to bring that vision to fulfillment, to fruition, however it is. Okay, so let's look at why do we want to create goals? What is the purpose of creating goals? Why is creating goals important? Goals are important not because of themselves, but because of the vision that they are meant to back up or support. All right, so there is literally a trajectory. I believe in the previous slide we spoke about pathway and trajectory. That's what this is. There's literally a trajectory that carries a vision and brings into reality. So it usually starts with an idea. You have an idea that gives birth to a vision, and a vision can give birth to more ideas, but initially at the beginning, an idea gives birth to a vision. And when you have that vision in mind, you say, "Oh, how do I do this?" It's like aim and objectives. You have an aim, and so to accomplish that aim, you create objectives. So in the same way, you have a vision, and so to accomplish that vision, you create a list of things to do. Those list of things to do is what you call your mission. All right, so you have a vision, you have a mission. And so when I looked at Vishtech integrated innovations vision and mission, it also follows the same order. It also follows the same tally. So you see, you guys have a vision to do certain things, and that is to build systems, to empower businesses. And then in your mission, I saw that you want to do this by creating this, you want to do this by doing this. So it's the same thing. When you have a vision, you have to point out, what do I need to do to get this vision done? That is the mission. And then when you have the mission, you have to break the mission down. All right, what do I want to achieve by doing this thing? Ultimately is the vision, but for each mission that you accomplish, what will be achieved for each of those missions, that when you put them together, it gives you the vision that you want. Those things are what you call goals. So that is why you create goals. You don't create goals because you just, no. You create goals to accomplish a mission in order to fulfill the vision. I don't know if I've broken that to be as easy or as simple as possible. So the same thing, when you have goals, you have to create tasks. All right, so tasks are your checklist, tasks are your milestones, tasks are your objectives. Okay, the same way I explained to you, with vision and mission, you have it like aim and objectives. I'm sure most of us here probably are either we are done with school, or maybe we are in school, but I want to assume we're all done with school. So if we were done with school and you did your project, you created aims and objectives for your project. So your aim was the key thing. Your objectives were the things you wanted to do to fulfill or to accomplish that aim. And so that's the same thing with vision and mission, and the same thing with goals and tasks. All right. So mission is the aim. Vision is the aim. Mission is the objective. Goal is also an aim. Task is also the objective. So it's a kind of comparison I want to use as an analogy for you to understand the picture I'm trying to paint. And so when you've outlined the tasks that you're going to have to do in order to be able to carry out the goals you've outlined, all right, then you now look for the who. The who has to do with who do we need and what do we need. So the who has to do with resources. It could be human resources. It's majorly human resources. It could be materials, whatsoever it is. That is the who. All right. So the who is very important because it's even more important than the how. You know, when people want to do something, oh my God, how do I do this? If you're asking how you're going to do it, that's actually the wrong question. The first question you should ask is who can do this or who has done this. So the who speaks about capacity. All right. It makes your life easier. I understand as an innovator, when you first start, you're all concerned with how, but when you now integrate the business aspect, you get to realize it's actually a matter of who. So if you're a team leader, your major concern is who. But if you're a team member, your major concern is how. Those are two different things. So the leader of the team, whether the team leader or the project manager or the CEO or the founder, when you are working on something, the question you're asking, we need to get this done. Who can get this done, or who has done something like this before? Who can we seek advice on to do this? That is the team leader. But the team member, that's the person that's part of the team, they bring you, okay, come and do this. Your own is how, not who. But how can I get this done? So those are different things. So after the who gives birth to action. So what are the actions that are going to be taken? All right. What are the actions that are going to be taken immediately? That is, you are jumping, you are doing the do immediately. That's your actions. It's called do the do. So there are people that they know how to talk the talk, but they know how to do the work. All right. And that's a problem. Whether you are looking for a partner to collaborate with on a project, or you are working with a team member, you need people that can do the do and not talk the talk. I have had that problem before. The people that talk the talk, they're usually the smartest people in the room. They when they speak, everybody's like, wow. But when it now comes, okay, after everything that was said, what you shared was also very powerful. Let's do. You won't find them. All right. I had someone like that, and I learned the hard way. So, you need people that can do the do. So after the who, action is required. And when you take action, there's going to be a result. That result is what we call the outcomes. All right, the outcome of those actions that you took. All right, and then lastly is feedback. You must always take feedback. Feedback is called lessons learned. You must always take feedback so you don't make mistakes in the future. When you've taken your feedback is your lessons learned, you will be able to save yourself time, energy, and resources in the future if you are to redo that kind of project again or do a similar project. You don't have to start from the beginning. Based on what you learned from the previous one, you can do the next one, and you get feedback from people you're working with, customers or whatever, to improve upon what has already been done. That's very, very important. So I want to give you an example, a very casual example. Let's assume a king. So a king wants to dominate the world. He has a vision. All right, his vision is to dominate an entire territory. So what does he do? He sends out his soldiers, all right, to fulfill this vision. What's the next thing? Yeah, you can go next. So the mission given to the soldiers is to war against an opposing kingdom, or probably any opposing kingdom in the area, to war against them. And what is their goal? All right, in this process, their goal is to be victorious, to win the wars that they fight. That is their goal. Now, to be able to win the wars they fight, they must outline how they are going to do it. They must plan. So it's either the general or the commander, or the general commander or commander general. I don't know how they call these military terms. They will write out tasks, assignments, and assign them to soldiers. So those assignments, the battle plans that they draft and everything, those are the tasks, all right, that are going to be needed to be done for. So they might say, okay, we're gonna. You've watched what's it called? Is it Troy? What happened to the city of Troy? I saw the Trojan horse. That was it. That was a battle strategy. That was a battle plan they came up with. So that's an example of task. They did that. They performed that task to achieve the goal of conquering the city, Troy. I don't know if I've been clear with that example. And so the soldiers who are going to execute those actions are the who Who do I need to do this? You need soldiers, and then resources like swords, arrows, spears, and all of that. All right. Yeah, please continue. And so, when the execution of the task that you've outlined, the execution of it, of actually building the body of the Trojan horse, entering into it, getting all those things, those are the actions that have been taken. All right. And after when you've done those actions, the next thing is they were victorious. All right. So the king's people fought. Maybe they lost, maybe they won, but in the case of Troy, they won. So that was the outcome. And then what's the feedback? What did they learn throughout that process? Now, if they're going to fight another war, they can always look back and say, what have we done before? What do we learn from this previous one that we did? How is it similar to this? All right, and pick what is going to make it easier for them to win their next war. So it's always going to get easier and easier for them to win the next war. So that's the trajectory of carrying a vision and bringing it into reality. All right, please let's continue. Let me try and be fast. So, what is the nature of setting a goal? Since we've been able to establish why a goal is important, what's the nature of setting a goal if you want to set a goal? Now, a goal has to be SMART, which is a popular acronym. It's not a new acronym. It means for a goal to be specific. That's number one. For a goal to be measurable. Number two, for it to be achievable. Number three, for it to be realistic and for it to be timely. Now, when we say a goal should be specific, it means you should know what you want to do. You should know exactly what you want to do. There should not be any ambiguity. So it's not something ambiguous. There's no ambiguity. It's straight to the point. You know your what, and after you've been able to answer the question of what do you want to do or what do you want to accomplish, then you now answer the question of who. If you are a team leader, you answer the question of who, because who, as I said, is more important than how. All right, you answer the question of who. I can say this because it's even being used in the industry today. When I worked with Greensville for a while, when they have a project that they want to do, they don't stress themselves. Even if it's to build maybe a mini skid. A skid is like a mini plant that they can move around and whatnot. They don't ask the question, how are we going to build it? The question they ask is which company can do this for us? Who has done this? They don't concern themselves with how. All they know is that this is what we want. We want a skid that can produce social capacity. This is exactly what we want. We don't know how it's going to be done. Get us someone that can do it. And when the person does it, you should be able to meet up with what we want. That's our expectations. So after you answer the question of who, of what, you need to know who you need to do that thing. And that your goal should be measurable. You should be able to measure what is the progress that I'm making. All right. At what extent have we gone, and to what extent we need to go? And you can measure that using data. All right. So you need to come up with metrics. All right. Data, metrics, KPIs, which are key performance indicators. We'll talk about that more. That you're going to use to be able to do these things. All right. So your goal is not something that you have no idea when it's going to be accomplished or not. You are just going with the flow. No, you should be. It is possible. If I think we'll talk about some of the ways you can do that later on. But to be clear, it is possible to be able to measure the progress of every goal that you've outlined, to know whether if you are wasting your time or not, whether what you are doing is going to be profitable or not. All right. If you've ever drawn up a business plan, you would understand the intrinsic nature of what I'm talking about. And so we talk about achievability. A goal should be achievable, meaning it should be something that is doable. Someone should be capable of doing it. It should be something that can be actualized. Okay, so it shouldn't be something that cannot be done. Something that's going to maybe put someone in a dangerous position, or not something like that. It has to be something that can be achieved either by you or whoever you need to achieve it. It can be achieved. And then you talk about realism. So it should be realistic. So realistic and achievable are different things. So realistic has to do with data. You look at what has been done before. Has someone done something like this before? All right. If they have not done something like this before and I still want to do it for the first time, what data do I have to support the fact that this thing can be possible? Have I done my research? Have I done my calculations? Can I conduct a research to test it to see if it's possible? So you focus not just on ideas only. So you are not just being idealistic, but you are being empirical. You have to have data and stuff that can support the goal that you want to do. So it should be something practical, something that can be backed up by data. All right, and then it should be timely. So a goal is always time bound. When I say it's time bound, I mean it has a timeline, it has a time frame. A timeline means when should it be done. When we're speaking about the specificity of a goal, we said your who and your what. All right, and we'll also discuss later about how. But when you talk about timeline, you need to know when. something should be done, but when should it be done? You've heard of Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, and he shared last year or 2 years ago how that everything that he's doing right now, all the meetings he's having, everything he's doing now and planning for Amazon is not for what Amazon is doing now. It's for what Amazon is going to do in the next 20, 10 years. That is involved in the future of Amazon, not in the current state. He allows his project managers, he allows his teammates, everybody, all of the people, presidents and whatnot, to handle the daily runnings of Amazon, while them that are in meetings, the important stakeholders are planning the 5, 10, 20 years of Amazon. So that's what we call timeline. Timeline is when. When should this goal come in? When should we commence this project? You might have a list of goals, a list of projects you want to do, but each of them should come in at different times. So that's what we call timeline. And then we talk about time frame. How long should these projects take? All right, how long should each of these projects take? You should be able to, accord a time to the project. You can't just say we're doing this project and then you see yourself 5, 10 years, nothing has been done. And that's one of the things people call it procrastination, but it's just lack of planning. You need to create that time. And then the last thing there was catalyst. The catalyst is what speeds up or slows down the process. So you can create the catalyst. You can look for what are the things, whatever I call catalyst. What are the things I can do or make it over this point to make my goal be accomplished at the time we planned, whether to be accomplished faster or at the time we planned. That will mean by catalyst. Thank you so much. All right, so I'll just give you a brief. This is not my main point, but I'll just give you a brief here about team responsibilities and structure. So number one, who sets the goals? The person that sets the goal is the team lead. It's the project manager, is the founder, is the CEO, is the leader, whatever capacity or form that leader is. So in the organogram of any company, you have what's an order of hierarchy order of position, who has more authority. So whoever is above you in terms of authority, whoever is supervising your work, is the person that sets the goals for the work you're going to do. All right. So CEO sets the goals for finance team. The head of the finance team sets the goals for the people on the finance team. So that's how it's done. So the project manager, the team lead, the founder, whatever, sets the goals. But the difference between the team lead and everybody and the founder, or I like to call him CEO, the difference is that the CEO sets the goals based on a vision. All right, while they set more like objectives or tasks based on the goals that the CEO has given them. All right, so when the CEO is the one that sets the goals, what is the goal? All right, so the CEO has to define what it is that he wants to accomplish, and then has to now realize, who do I need to do this? And so he forms a team of people, which is you guys. Who do I need to do this? And when I form this team, who is doing what? Each person needs to know what they are doing, who they are reporting to, and who they are supervising. It is important. All right. I worked with a company that this was a problem. I was a project manager for a startup company about 3 or 4 years ago. The company was called Rujo, and I first worked with them as a tank and piping specialist before being promoted to project manager, and then I think the head of the process team. While I was tank and piping specialist, there was this very intelligent, smart guy. He was on another team. I think it was on the automation team, and he was always negating the things from every team when we're having company meeting and we're briefing and giving feedback. He's always finding something to counter what the technical team is working on, and it just made me feel uneasy because the company kept going round and round in circles. All right, because there was no clarity. So the moment I was promoted to becoming the project manager, I isolated every team. You cannot criticize or scrutinize the work of another team unless their work involves your future work. Maybe they create a data or a document and forward it to you, and then you realize maybe some of the things there are not correct, are not accurate or corresponding. Then you can reach out. All right. So, but generally, I isolated each team. So you work independently. You don't scrutinize or talk down another team, because that made the company jump from one. I think during that time I was there with them, they were jumping from project to project, about 5 projects. So the project they started with was not the project that they ended with, because one person kept on finding problems, and the person is very, very smart man. All right, so there needs to be structure. Who is doing what? Who is communicating to who? Who is supervising who? And who is reporting to who? So that is now done based on the goal that has been outlined. In order for us to accomplish this, we need someone that can do this. We need someone that can do that. So who is doing what? And when you need to, you personally, whether as a teammate or a leader, you need to know, what am I doing? You need to have a proper understanding of your role. When they've given you, okay, this is what you need to do, you need to understand, what am I doing exactly? Am I here to create this? Am I here to create that? So when you are able to understand exactly what you're doing, you can know if you're making progress or if you're adding value to your company. Not that you are just there, you have no idea what's going on. If they ask you, okay, you work with a company, what did you do for them? You cannot point out and say, oh, while I worked with them, oh my God, I was able to take their sales from this point to this point. All right. As we go on, I'll share some experiences, personal experiences with you. So it's important for everyone to know what everyone is doing. That's the structure, who they're reporting to, and then individually to know what am I doing. And the last thing is to know who. So that who I mentioned tallies with what. Oftentimes, to accomplish a task, it's not a matter of how, but who you need to do that task. All right. So just to give you guys a quick understanding of that, I want to really talk about frameworks and tools. So I wouldn't spend too much time here. You can go to the next slide, so that we can. Awesome. So just to give us a walk in about what performance management is all about. We've already spoken about goal setting. I've laid a bit of foundation on that, and because of my time, I want to quickly rush. Let's have a look. What is performance management? It is simply just measuring the progress of a project towards the set targets or the set goal. All right. So you are making sure. Remember, we said a goal. Setting a goal is basically creating a map. It is a vision-based map. And so performance management is making sure that map that you created is followed accordingly. So it's being followed according to the vision that it was created to fulfill. So the map is being followed accordingly. So performance management focuses on what's it called? Not just consistency, but adherence. So there's a difference between being consistent and being adherent. And one of the cases I can use to give this is if you are taking a medication, maybe you are treating malaria or typhoid or whatever, if you are taking a medication, there's a difference between consistency and adherence. So if the medication says take 1 tablet a day, all right, for 5 days, consistency is that every day for that 5 days, you take that 1 tablet. But adherence is that if they say take that tablet at 12 p.m. every day, adherence is that every day you are taking that tablet at exactly 12 p.m., not 11:59, not 12:01, but you are taking that pill at 12 p.m. every day for that 5 days. That is the difference between consistency and adherence. So performance management also tries to measure not just the consistency to see the result and impact, but also the adherence. What is meant to be done at a particular time should be done at that particular time so that it does not hinder other activities from being done. All right, and then that is because goals are timeline and time frame based, as I explained. When it should be done, it should be done. And so performance management, which I can call PM at some point in this slide, is created by a planner or a scheduler or a manager or a team with whosoever. They do that during a project. They do it after a project to measure the performance of the project that was done. So while they're doing during the project, you can look at it like supervision. They want to make sure the project is going well to meet up with the goal that it was created to meet up with. So it meets up with the target. And when they do it after a project, it's for what we call lessons learned, which I've explained before. Lessons learned is very, very important. It can save you time and energy and money when you learn from your past mistakes and your past successes. All right. So let's keep having a look at what performance management is about. You can go to the next slide. So yeah, you can go to the next slide, sir. Okay, so performance management has 3 things, essentially. It involves 3 things. So when you are trying to measure the progress of anything, you have to look at what is your expected, what is the actual, and what was the previous. So expected is what you are planning to do. What do you want to do? Not this thing you are doing now. What is it you are doing? How are you doing it? When are you doing it? That's the expectation. All right. The actual is the expectation has to do with your planning. You're planning it before it happens. The actual is as it is happening. Well, let's be following according to what we planned. Is it following according to the expected thing that we planned? All right, that's the actual. And then the previous is if you guys have done something like that before in the past, an operation like that in the past, or if a different company or a different body or a different entity has done something like that in the past, how did they handle it? How did it go for them? You compare that to how it went for you. All right. So expected and previous normally come before you commence the project. The actual is while the project is going on, and then the previous and expected also come in after it has been done, so you can measure. All right, yes, we can move to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so in performance management, every person and every step is important. It's not just about nobody, and people are not just numbers you write on a book or a paper. Everybody is important, and every step you are taking is important. If a step fails, or if a particular person involved in it fails to do what they're supposed to do, it affects the entire success of the entire project. All right, so the success of the project is impacted, and so it's not necessarily about, oh, you passed or you failed or you're getting an A or you're getting a B. No, it's just focused on, did we accomplish the goal that we set out to accomplish? If we want to do a project to feed 100 kids on the street, all right, were we able to do that? Were we able to meet children at their point of need? Were we able to do that? All right, it's not a matter of, oh, I'm giving you A or B or you pass or fail. It's not a school setting. You're in the real world. It's realistic work you're doing. So you're able to measure what's it called, if you did well or not, based on if the goal was achieved or not. So how do you measure progress? You measure progress by milestones. And what milestones are, they are just significant steps or significant points in the development of a project. So you want to build a house. What's the first thing? You have to buy the land. Next thing, clear the land. Next thing, lay the foundation. So those milestones. Oh, I've bought a land. Thank God, I'm so happy. Oh, I've cleared the land. Oh, we are working on we've done the foundation. Oh, we've just raised the first maybe it's a duplex. So we've just raised the first level. Now we've gone to the second level. Those are what you call milestones. They are significant steps in the development of a project from the start to the finish. And so how do you measure performance? Is performance really different from progress? How do you measure performance? You measure performance with KPIs. KPIs are the key performance indicators that let you know whether you are performing well or not, whether the project is going well or not. And so you can look at them as data, metrics, all right, that measure a project over time to see if it's meeting up with the goal or the targets, all right? So that's how you measure performance. Please, you can proceed, Mr. Ope. All right, so an example of this is a sound engineer, whether a sound engineer or a DJ, whatever you choose to call them. And they are the ones on the amplifiers and the mixers and the sound system, creating sounds maybe at an event or whatsoever. So how do you measure the performance during that process? What is the performance? The performance is he has to listen to the sounds that are being produced by his system. That is the actual. All right. So now I want us to be able to identify what is the expected, what is the actual, what is the previous. He listens to the sound. All right. He adjusts those sounds. All right. He adjusts the level of the bass or bass. He adjusts the level of the equalizer. He adjusts the level of everything to make sure it meets up. So based on his experience, he has been doing that for a while. All right. So he knows what it's supposed to sound like. So if it's not sounding like that, what we call the previous. He knows what's supposed to sound like. That's the previous. And so he knows what is expected. And then he adjusts it to make sure that what is expected is what is met up with in the actual. All right. So that's just an example of performance management. So this is where this is where our main work for today starts. Frameworks and tools. So the framework is just basically a structure. All right, is whatever established principles or structures that you have in place, so that can help you to analyze something, describe something in order to achieve something. All right. So the first thing is planning and scheduling. You don't joke with this. So planning and scheduling is the beginning of any project. The project you are doing is to accomplish a goal. The beginning of goal setting and performance management starts from planning and scheduling. It is done in preparation, all right? And so what does it involve? Now, for planning and scheduling, I usually recommend leveraging on technology, using softwares, applications, projects, people, whatsoever, partnerships, collaboration, network, relationships, softwares, technology, whatever interfaces you can get your hand on to help you prepare and carry out that task. So there are softwares like SAP. SAP means system, applications, and products. All right. So if you've worked in, I don't know if from your previous work experience, if you've made use of SAP interfaces that are used by companies. All right, there's SAP for inventory for the warehouse. It helps them. They need to know what is in their house, what is in the warehouse, what do they need to buy off, what do they need to buy more of. Is it finishing? When is it going to finish? With their ordering, when is it going to come? All right, so there's SAP for warehouse, there's SAP for operation. If you're operating and doing maintenance, who's supposed to be on duty? What is the person supposed to do? So that's it's like a software. It's similar to SCADA. SCADA is what I listed there. It's a supervisory application. It's used for measuring performance. All right. So SCADA it depends on the company. The SCADA that is used by Schlumberger is different from the SCADA used by Mobil. different from the SCADA used by NMPC, different from the one used by Total, different from the one used by any company, essentially. They design SCADA and even SAP based on the company, on the parameters of the company, to be able to outline, okay, what is coming out from social line, what is how many kg of our product is being produced at that particular line. That is what SCADA helps them to measure. Okay, reduce the temperature there, increase the temperature there, do this, do that. It helps them monitor and know if everything is going well. It's supposed to be producing social quantity at social temperature. Is it doing that? If it's not, adjust the temperature. SCADA helps for that. So the other softwares, Primavera and Microsoft projects are planning and scheduling softwares. I don't know how best to describe it. Recommend, if you're a project manager on this team, get any of these softwares. Even if you can't get them, get Excel. Microsoft Excel can also help you with that. I did planning and scheduling for big companies. Literally, they sought after me because when I worked with the guy that they brought from the UK and everything, the guy led an operation. It's called a shutdown operation. So a shutdown operation is where you shut down all your equipment to clean them, put them in order, and then start up again. So it's like you are, I don't know if you guys are aware of Meshai. They cook noodles in Nigeria. In a Nigerian environment, there are these local business people that make noodles, quick food, fast food. They're called Meshai. And so if for someone that is doing Meshai, he can use one pot to cook for 3 or 4 people. But after using that one pot to cook for 3 or 4 people, he has to stop, wash the pot, take the pot down from fire, scrape all the gummy stuff on the pot, scrape them off, wash the pot and clean it, and now use it again so that the quality of the noodles can be fresh. So that is what shutdown is. It's when you shut everything down to clean them and fix them, get them ready for better production. And so when the man did the shutdown operation on some equipment and the rest, the owner of the company, who was based at Belgium at the time, he said that was the worst shutdown he has seen in his life. And that was shocking because the man that they brought from UK that did the shutdown, he had been in the oil and gas industry for about over 30 years. The age gap between me and the man was quite a lot. They get, and so when they fired the man, because the owner of the company was angry, so he sacked the man, and so they brought us on board for us to coordinate the next shutdown. And the next shutdown was 1,000 times, I'm literally not joking, bigger than the last one. The last one that the man did that he was fired, it was just on 3 or 4 equipment. This next shutdown is on an entire train. All right, an entire train. A train is a line of equipment, so you can have like 300 or 400 or 500 equipments on a single train, on an entire train. And you are asking us who haven't done something like this before. Maybe we are seated in the previous one, but we haven't done something like this before by ourselves. So coordinate this process. All right, and that was a lot of pressure. You just fired someone that spent 30 years in this field, and us that we don't have up to 1 year of experience in this field, they're bringing us to do this. What was the saving grace? We planning and scheduling. We made use of Primavera. We made use of Microsoft Project. We made use of all the software that I wrote there for you. You see Slack, you see Google Business. We made use of software that we could make use of to plan. So we created, what is the first step? Okay, we outlined all the what we want to achieve. We want to achieve a complete overhaul. An overhaul is a turnaround. You want to do total maintenance. So if you want to achieve a complete overhaul, what do we need to do? We need to get people that can do it. I told you it's a question of who. We're not the ones that do it. We've never opened those machineries before. We don't know what are inside. So who can do this stuff? Okay, we can get them to do it. We reach out to them. We write to the contracting department. We reach out to them. They book their visa. We start what we call visa preparations. While the visa preparation is ongoing, we start to plan their accommodation. Where are they going to sleep? What is going to be their time schedule? When are they going to work? What time are they going to work? What is going to be their bed schedule? When are they going to sleep? When are they going to eat? All those things. And then we now started planning for each of the equipment one by one. For electrical equipment, these are the steps. This is how many hours we are going to spend on social equipment. We planned everything down to the minute detail. There was nothing that caught us by surprise. We need containers placed beside the stuff so the plant it can be faster. That was goal setting. So it started with planning and scheduling. Now, when the project started, it was proposed to take about 30 days. That's where performance management comes in. You have to supervise the entire thing. And the process was that the issue was that my team, we were only 3 on my team, and we have over 500 and something equipment on ground. And you want us to supervise all of them at the same time every day for 30 days. You cannot divide yourself into many places. So that's what performance management is about. You create a system, a structure where it's easier for you to measure the progress being done. And so we are doing planning and scheduling. You are able to allocate percentages of progress. So every tax, if you want to cook meat, for example, you buy your meat, that can be 5% of the tax done. You wash your meat, that could be 10%. You cut your onions, that could be 5%. So you allocate percentages. Those are what your what's it called? The expected progress you're expecting to make. That okay, after 1 hour, I would have already bought the meat. Then after 5 minutes, I've already washed the meat. After 10 minutes, I've already sliced my onions. After 20 minutes, I've already put. So that's your expected. You've planned it. After you're done planning, then you actually go out and buy the meat. You come back, you wash the meat, you slice the onions. That is the actual. So while you are doing that, you have a timer. You are measuring. Oh, was I able to accomplish this? But then you're able to that. You'll be able to plot your expected and your actual. Am I lagging behind? Am I on point? Am I making progress? So that took us to what we call the S curve. So the S curve is basically a curve of progress. It shows if you are making progress. If you are under the curve, you are not making progress. Either your resources are limited or you are too slow, you're not going to meet up with the time. Please, you can go back to planning and scheduling. Or if you are above the progress, you're above the S curve, then you're making progress. And when we supervise that project, I am telling you, we're able to predict, because we're having meetings every morning and every evening at the end of the day, we're able to predict to them that they are going to finish one day before the time they planned. You need to see how happy they were. And companies do that. When you accomplish a project, maybe it's supposed to take 30 days and you finish it in less than 30 days, they will give you bonus. So that you need to see how everybody was celebrating us. People from different nationalities. I work with people from so many parts, every part of the world, except maybe France, but every other part of the world. And people were clapping. Young people coming together and holding one of the best shutdowns they've ever had at that plant. You can only do that when you plan and schedule. Make use, or I've listed some softwares there. Probably this document is going to get to your hand from the CEO. Take note of the documents the softwares are going to be related to your own work, your own field. Get a hold of them, use them to make your life easy. Then that takes us to format and templates. I'll just cap this one. Format and templates are the language of your company. How does your company talk to each other? How do you communicate among yourself and with the public? So you need to have your job description that tells everybody what they're supposed to do. You need to be able to have a way you communicate in your emails. How do you draft your letters? How do you communicate your emails? How do you write your memos? That's all of this I'm saying is part of performance management. Your format and your template are part of performance management. All right. So you can move to the next slide. I don't want to dwell too much on that because of time. Block diagrams. I spoke about milestones before. So when you put your milestones in a diagram, that's a block diagram. All right. So a block diagram is just a block of milestones. Then you have your checklist. Your checklist is the breakdown of each milestone. What are the steps? So I said, okay, for example, you are building a house, buy a land. How do you buy? What do you do to buy a land? You have to reach out to an agent. You have to go out and look for the land. Those are the items on your checklist. While buying the land is just the milestone. Okay, you bought the land. You have to. The next milestone now is to clear the land. How do you do that? You have to itemize. Get maybe a land surveyor. Get people to clear. Pay them amount of money. Those are your checklist. And then point out your KPIs. Your KPIs can be people-based or goal-based. All right, or they can be both people-based and goal-based. All right. So let's have a look at some examples, please. We can go to the next slide. I think I've exceeded my time limit. I'm honestly so sorry. So as I mentioned, goal setting and performance management always begins with planning and scheduling. So I've mentioned before, you have to leverage on technology, on system, and on softwares. So this is an outline. When you have a project, this is how you do the planning and scheduling. You have to first of all write out what is the goal, and you identify that goal based on the vision. Then you list out all the steps. Those are the milestones, the major things you need to do. All right. Then you draw out the blocks, draw your milestones in blocks. Then you identify who are your who's, who are the people you need to reach out to, communicate with them, bring them on your team, collaborate with them, identify the key performance indicators to be able to know if you are making progress or not. All right. And then start. Just do the do. Don't wait for when you have everything. Just start. Don't delay unnecessarily. Begin the work. And while the work is going on, if you're in a supervisory role, observe the KPIs of the project, the KPIs you outline, observe them, and don't worry about anything that you cannot control. That's why I said operate within your control. There are things within your control and things that are beyond your control. Government policies are beyond your control. All right. So when you're observing your KPIs, if the things that are within your control that you can alter, that are your variables, you can alter them, that you try to change and adjust to make sure that you are on point. And then be consistent, continue doing continue doing what you need to do, and then you will achieve the outcome. All right, when you achieve the outcome, take notes of the lessons that you learned from there. All right, planning, and you can go to the next slide. So please take your time and still go over the slides again so that you can understand them. You can continue, Mr. Open. Let me give some example. So this is Microsoft project. All right, this is Microsoft project, and this I'm just giving you guys an example. I created this Microsoft project. It's a project to you want to build a bicycle. So we outline the steps. All right, the yellow arch that's almost like orange at the top. That is the title of the project. Build a bicycle. Then the ones that are on green, those are the milestones. All right, what's the first thing you have to do? Research. And then the ones that are in yellow are the checklist, the steps you have to take to fulfill that milestone. So what is your research going to be about? How do I build a bicycle? What do I need? How much do I need? What is the cost? Who do I need to get to do that? Those are the checklist on the milestones. The next one that you can find there is what's it called? Metalworks. When you've procured everything and all the checklist from your previous steps, the metalworks, you cast your metal, you melt it, you cast it. You notice that I listed Microsoft Project helps you list the project, the timeline, how many hours it's supposed to take, how many days it's supposed to take, what are the resources for your research. You need Wi-Fi for your metalworks, you need a metal, you need this and that. This is just a summary, and then you can see a small chart on the right that shows you how many days is it taking, what is this and that. These are what you use for planning, and then for also measuring your performance. This is where you build your actual. Then when you go out, so your expected rather, and when you now go and start doing the stuff, you're now able to compare the actual with the expected. All right, let's just run to the next one, the next slide. I think I've eaten into someone else's time. Yeah, you can proceed to the next slide, sir. So block diagrams. So these are milestones for a startup company. A company that's a startup. What are the milestones? They form a team, they do company registration, they do tax and bank registration. You list out these milestones, all right, and you follow them up. These are so you keep observing. Am I on path? Am I doing what's supposed to be done? So the ones that are in green are the ones that have been completed. The ones that are yellow are the ones that are in progress, and the ones that are red are the ones that have not even started. So you're able to measure the progress as time is going on. For each of the boxes, you know the amount of time you have accredited to each of them. So there's what we call start to finish and start to start. Start to start means that when this process starts, also start this other process. Start to finish means that when this project has finished, then you can start this other one. All right. So you can look at the relationship between team formation, prototyping, and company registration. So what does that mean? It means that when you finish team formation, you are starting company registration and prototyping at the same time. So that one is start to start. All right. Then start to finish means that it's only when you are done with company registration that you now start tax and bank registration. So this is simplified stuff. When you are building a house, you can outline which one needs to start at the same time and which one has to finish before the next one can start. All right. This is an overview. So we can go to the next slide. This is an overview for block diagrams. Yeah, we can proceed to the next slide. I don't want to. So an example of KPIs, which I mentioned are key performance indicators, is I mentioned they can be person-based or goal-based. So person-based is like maybe you are hiring someone, all right, or you need a person to do something, because I mentioned that is a matter of who, not how. So if it's a matter of who, you need to outline this person we are bringing. How can we measure the person's performance? All right, so you measure it on how the person is able to reduce accidents, how the person is able to maintain the quality of your production, the quality of reports, the technical support, all of those stuff. They have avoided losses. Those are the key performance. How well have they done across this board? Those are the key performance. So how many accidents have they had? 0. Oh my God, they had 0 accidents. He's doing well. Is he mentoring the guys under him? Yes. Oh, that's good. So those are key performance. So you know the guy is doing well in his role. Then when it's goal based, it means based on a particular objective. You have the key performance for that particular goal. You want to measure if that goal, if it went well or if it's going well. So I give an example here. You want to build a website that can handle certain number of viewers. Your website displays products. Maybe the products that are selling lamp, selling chairs, selling bicycles, all of that. You want to display. It's a website that displays that, and you want somebody to build it. So how do you measure that project of them building it? You measure it by the site handling capacity. How many people can the site handle? Or if plenty of people climb the website, will it start misbehaving? All right. I don't know if you've seen so many sites. When everybody's on the site now becomes slow. What is the site handling capacity? What's the user experience like? Are people complaining? Are people enjoying it? There's a difference between WhatsApp, Instagram, and other social medias. When you're chatting on WhatsApp, you don't feel like you're chatting. It feels like it's seamless. But when you are on any other chatting platform, maybe Telegram, maybe Instagram, you feel like you're doing work. You feel like you don't get the feeling you get when you're on WhatsApp. That's what we call user experience. So how do people feel when they're using the website that shows the image? Have the image of the brand, does the website affect the image of the brand negatively or positively? Are the images on the website clear? Does IT respond well? Does marketing respond well? Because it's marketing and IT that are working on the project. How well are they communicating and responding to each other? How well are they being timely? What's their timeliness? And what are the glitches on the website? Are there any glitches on the website? So those are examples of KPIs. You need to outline them at the beginning of any project before you start that project, so you know what to look out for and what to watch out for. Right? All right, please, you can go to the next slide. We are almost done. Yeah, we can go to the next slide, Mr. Okay. Okay, I don't know if it's just okay. Yeah. So HR recruitment, that's project. So this is an example. I just wanted to give us an example of project. For this one now, we've outlined the goal. So they want to recruit someone. What is the goal? They want to hire a graphic designer for the marketing team. And so what is the objective? How do they want to do this? They want to subject their applicants to a 1-week test or a 1-week trial to see if they are good. And so that's the goal that has been outlined. That's the objective that has been outlined. So there is a checklist that has been outlined. What is the checklist? The first thing is that the marketing team has to request for a graphic designer. So the marketing team has to reach out to the HR department and say, "Oh, we need a graphic designer that is good," and tell the marketing team what they need. They want someone that can design good, that can make good quality designs, that can do 10 designs in 1 week, that will submit on time. That's what the KPIs. First, they'll list out the KPIs. Then, the marketing team would forward the email to the HR. The HR will post the job online. People should apply. They would shortlist applicants. Those are checklists. They will shortlist the applicants. When they interview the applicants, the ones that are qualified, they will send them to the marketing team for the trial, for the 1-week trial. The marketing team will now give them tasks. That's what you are seeing there, tasks to do. Okay, we are going to receive requests for designs. They're going to do the designs. They're going to submit it. All right. The applicants that are being tested, they don't need to know the KPIs. In fact, they don't even know the KPIs. The only thing they know is the tasks that they are doing. They don't even know the checklist. They only know the tasks that they're doing. So when they have done the 1-week trials, the management team is going to grade them. Sorry, the marketing team is going to grade them on the KPIs that has been listed. How was the quality of their design? Did they submit it on time? How would you be able to design? They were able to, if we wanted a design that shows something of happiness, the design was able to show something of happiness. That is what was the ability of the design to show the intention that was required. All right. And how punctual were they to work? Every day, they come to work every day at 8. Were they punctual during this test trial? They list out the KPIs that lets them know that this person is going to be a high performing, what is it called, staff or employee when we bring the person on board. All right. So that's an example. Another example is you want to produce a plant. You want to operate a plant that is going to produce 100 tons of custard a day. You are making custard, that just means you are mixing hot water and custard powder together to produce custard. So you have a plan also to produce that. You list out your KPIs. Your KPIs can be qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative deals with the quality of your custard and the quality of your operations. Quantitative deals with
Hello. Can anybody hear me? Engineer Peter, are you still there? Engineer Peter, are you still there? You're muted.
my God, sorry, my phone was on DND, so a call came in and muted me and ended the call. I didn't know. So, but can you hear me?
Okay, can hear you now.
Yeah. So,
I
in
think
conclusion,
we're rounding up now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In conclusion, the qualitative KPIs has to do with the quality of your operations and feedback and everything. When you come to your quantitative KPIs, you talk about uh what is the quantity of water you're going to need for your custard? What is the quantity of custard powder you're mixing the water? What is the quantity you're producing per day? Are you able to meet up with the 100 tons that is required? So you use data to measure that kind of KPI. What is happening? What is what? What is the quantity? So you use data and ratios. All right, you can move to the next slide. I think the next slide is more or less yeah, you can move to the next slide, sir. Let's just run through. Yeah, Mr. Pei, you can move to the next slide. Though. Hello. Yeah, Engineer Pei, you can. I think you can move to the next slide. Okay, it seems he's not close to his device. Engineer Pei, can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yeah, you can move to the next slide, sir.
Yeah, it's on the next slide. Can you see it?
Okay, it's on the next slide.
Yes.
Oh, that's not reflected here yet. Okay, it's loading. It's loading here. Okay, it's back. Okay, so in conclusion, yes, know your what. Please, when after this session, please go through the what is it called, the document, the slide, and study each of the parts. I created some very interesting examples there for you. So in conclusion, know your what. Make it smart according to what we defined. Develop your company language. Know how you communicate among yourselves. Now to understand yourself. Know your who, which is important, which is more important than your how. Plan and schedule in order to achieve your goal. All right. Then work with people, collaborate with people. All right. And when you take note of the lessons you've learned, you'll be able to save time and money. Okay. So that's thank you so much for your time today. I'm really, really sorry I took more than the time that was planned. I just tried to give out as much value as I could. Thank you guys for having me. I do hope the value and knowledge that I've included in the PowerPoint slide, when you study it, should be able to give you an understanding and guide you on what you need to do. All right. Thank you guys so much for your time, and God bless you.
So, please, can we give Engineer Peter a round of applause? That was an intensive section. Thank you, Engineer Peter.
You're
I'm
welcome, sir.
quite sure of words, and this is quite a lot of value. I know what I'm saying, and I believe the team also can see that this is quite a lot of value. And
All right.
we hope that we would again have the opportunity to bring you for a more intensive section
Yes, sir.
moving forward. We hope we'll have the opportunity to have you again. It's quite very elaborate detail, and we would continue to improve with this knowledge that you have given to us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
You're
We
welcome, sir.
appreciate the value. We appreciate the
All
knowledge.
right, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're highly welcome, sir. You're highly welcome. I do wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
All right. So, if you have questions for Peter, please just drop it. Drop it in the channel. You can go to the channel. You can drop it on the general team group chat. So, I will pass the position across to him for you to send the response. Okay. So, please do that if you have any question. Please. So, we're going to move to the next section now. We have all of our guest speakers already on ground, so we need to move now faster, and we hope that you also get value again. With this section we are going to get into, it will be another beautiful time to learn deep things. So with us today we have the privilege and the opportunity to have this great team, and she'll be taking effective communication skills. And this our speaker is quite an interesting person you want to listen to. She has got a track record of excellence. And just as you can see, Christianity is an innovative education advocate, a brand communicator, a content writer, and public speaker. She believes that education should be a journey into self-discovery that brings out the creativity in individuals to solve local and global problems. As a first-class graduate, she authored the book Unlocking Academic Excellence. She equips students with essential skills to achieve excellent grades. Additionally, she has written other remarkable business ebooks. As a public speaker, her words inspire creativity in listeners, empowering them to feel their full potential. She's also a passionate advocate for personal development, believing that one's gifts and skills can open doors to new opportunities. Her faith is rooted in her love for God. So learn more about her work, and I think you really want to and connect with her. You can reach out to her on LinkedIn at Anitile Grace Badura. She's inspired by the code we write for the and this really aligns to what Vishtech really is all about, and she's open to profitable collaboration with global impact. So again, I have the honor to introduce to you Ms. Grace. She's with us here and she'll get into our section now. Please, let's give her a warm welcome. All right, thank you, Ms. Grace. You can just unmute your mic. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, I'm audible enough, please.
From my own side, you are, but can any other person confirm, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can. Once again, good morning, everyone. I am Grace Adetime, as the CEO has said, and I want to start by saying that I feel deeply honored and excited to be here with you all today. And please, I want us to mute ourselves, please, because I'm hearing some other noises. And I'm genuinely grateful to be part of today's staff capacity building retreat because I do not take this moment lightly. And the reason is because I'm also learning. Most of the time when people invite me to speak, I also see the opportunity to learn because there are things that are said that are spontaneous and they may not necessarily be what I have jotted before. And as someone who knows that learning never ends, so I always embrace every opportunity I'm being called upon to speak. So I was actually asked to speak on communications skills, and I'll be making emphasis more on effective communication. And I would have to say this, that most of what I'll be sharing with us today might not necessarily be entirely new. Some of it might sound like things you've been hearing before, but I did that intentionally. And the thing is because I believe that, repetition is the best teacher. Sometimes it's not really about learning something new. It's about remembering what we already know, but have not applied consistently. And so applying what we know is where we really can say that we truly know that concept. And like I said, it's not really about dumping information. Like I'm just been ensuring that I'm trying to refresh our mind, like making us becoming more intentional communicators. And when you hear me say things that you've heard all over again, it's just for you to know that repetition is how learning really sticks. The more you hear things all over again, the more it becomes part of you. And you don't really need to listen to something that for the first time and all of that. It's just you being able to pay care attention. And sometimes when you hear me speak, you might have to pause and be like, oh, I never saw it from this angle and all of that. And I want to say that the shortest distance between where we are now and where we want to be is guided in actions. And that has become possible when there is effective communication and grants to spurs into action. So I want to start by saying that what is really communication skill? Communication skill is one's ability to really share your thoughts clearly and understand others effectively, whether in speaking, writing, and listening. And at the same time, I'm trying to make us see how does it relate to us in Vishtech. And when you heard about communication, it's simply the process of trying to exchange information, maybe your thoughts, your ideas between people, perhaps between your team member in the organization and even your ideal potential customers through speech, writing, or even when it has to do with the way you react in your behaviors and all. So communication is not really about speaking. It's really about being heard and being understood. And that's why it can either be verbal or verbal, it can be in form of written, it can either be virtual communication, digital, whatever it is, what the main emphasis is that what they're trying to communicate is well understood. And beyond being understood, that's why emphasis is actually on effective communication. When we talk about effective communication, why it's really important, the key factor about effective communication is that the message you're trying to pass, the receiver really understand what you're trying to communicate, and the receiver is acting upon what you're saying. And that's before a receiver can really act upon it, whether between yourself, you and your team member in the organization, whether even between your potential customers and all. Such messages has to be clear and concise. That is, it has to be open to even a responsive feedback. And that's why communication is not really about talking. It's really about you listening, you understanding, responding, and there's an alignment in what is being said. So why do we really need to embrace effective communication? This is actually a workshop, is a retreat for all members of Vishtech to come together to want to learn how better way we can really communicate in the organization. And like I said, Vishtech is not just another organization. When I read through the invitation letter sent to me, I get to realize that there's an organization that making emphasis on business growth, innovation, research, technology, and all of that. And I want to say that what still makes all of this possible, what connects all of these different parts, is still boils down to communication. And that's why, effective communication is now the invisible infrastructure that holds everything together. It's where your relationship with clients really, really matters and is well managed. So when we really talked about communication, we're talking about how our ideas can become strategies. We brainstorming together. We are turning data into insights, and we're ensuring that there is no really gap in communication that can lead to conflict. When there is effective communication, conflict becomes resolution, because we can really get to communicate better with yourself as team and work better in unity. So another thing I want to say is that one amazing important of effective communication is that it enables cross-departmental collaboration. Whether those in the IT, the tech now, the admin, those in marketing and all of that, there is need for effective communication. That's why each team has to be intentional about reaching out to one another, seeing ways each department can come together, collaborate together, and see how the organization can tend to becomes better and achieve the desired goal. So another amazing thing about communication, that as a team, as a member in Vishtech, why you have to pay attention to it, is that effective communication, when you improve your communication skills, helps improve client relationship and partnership engagement. Why I'm saying this is because, let me just use a practical example. Yesterday I was at work and I saw some staffs, they were doing some works, and I needed some innovation in my office. And when I spoke to them, I told them who is their boss. They told me it's so and so person, because where they are working does not really relate. The jurisdiction does not cut across my office, but I need them to do the same thing in my office. And they told me their boss, I have to go to him. I greeted him, good afternoon, sir. This is me, and this is what I want from you. I don't know if you don't mind, can your staff come down to my office to help me fix one or two things? And one of the things the man said was, he said, I'm bored. And it was like, wow, that's how do I have this confidence? I'm like, it's just because I've just developed myself. I do not get to conclude that this person I'm going to reach out to is going to give me a no. I try my best. If eventually gave me a no, that's fine. If also gave me a yes, that's also cool. So in interacting, going out to reach out to potential customers, going out to for collaborations and all, to other organizations that might help to achieve Vishtech goals, you have to know that there is need for effective communication. You have to know that you have to be able to express yourself better, and that's why learning never ends. Communication is just a skill that can be learned the way we learn how to how to eat, the way we learn how to sweep. All of these things are words that can be learned. So another important thing about effective communication is that it enhances team performance. There is this unity, and information are well passed, and it reduces the high level of misunderstanding. When everyone is being carried along, each team knows their responsibility and they get to do better, and it enhances more team performance. And another amazing thing about communication is that it supports innovation. one thing I've got to know is that the more people brainstorm together, come together to share ideas, the more something is going to spark in them that can come up with ideas that can either, what's it called, propel achieving organization goal even way beyond the expectations. And we all know that communication will always facilitate growth and scalability, that is, ability to achieve more in a more larger way. And one thing I want us to have is that, there is this mindset that some persons have. Some of you might be thinking that, oh, I'm not really this good at communication. I'm always say that, oh, and I think some persons are born to be a good speaker. No, that's not really true. Every one of us, we are really communicating, whether verbally, non-verbally, digitally. Every day we wake up, we interact with people. That's communication. The only thing we should pay attention to is how can I improve on myself? How do I become better? How do I interact? How do I communicate with my team member? How do I, leave the whole idea of being charmed or to become better? And that's why intentional communication is what you should pay attention to. That is, you're becoming careful of your tone. How do I say what I say? You don't just speak out to your members, you don't just speak out to your customers. You have to know how better to position your tone when relating with your potential customers and even yourself as a team member. And even whether it's from the superior leaders to the those that are the subordinates, they have to be better way to communicate so that one person does not feel inferior. And at the same time, when it comes to communicating, our body languages really counts, the way our posture and all, and even when we're trying to relate digitally, the messages you send to persons, we just have to read them all over again and ensure that it is not really communicating otherwise to the person receiving it. And another thing I want to make us understand is that we have to be careful of the barriers in communication. Every team will have what they call jargons. There are some abbreviations that they will want to use and all of that in communicating with themselves. But most of the time when you're relating with someone outside of your team, you have to know that you have to communicate in a language that seems more easier and simple for them to clear enough for them to understand. And that's why there should always be need for coming up suggestions, those particularly those in the admin now, those in charge of human resource, coming up with monthly, weekly meetings where everyone gets to share their opinions about the growth, the challenges, and also that it enhances productivity, and it helps a way of building this mutual understanding among the team in the organization. And another important thing is that you already a representative of Vishtech, and how you represent Vishtech to the world really counts. You have to know that wherever you find yourself, you're representing a brand. And that's why you have to pay care attention to how you communicate to people out there. Your interaction when you are going out for client meeting, whether it's for partnership proposals and all, or even training sections. All of these things are what you should pay attention to, how you communicate. And that's why it's very, very important for you to keep following the 3 C's of communication, ensuring that your communications are clear enough, they are clear and concise. And even courteous, you speak with grace. You give people that audience to the opportunity to be listened to them and not just you communicating. And I want to also make another emphasis on the fact that when we talked about why we are paying attention to this, is that if we're not really paying attention to communication, there will really be a lot of gaps in the organization. That's why, because communication helps us to really inform, we get to inform people about, okay, this is what we are planning to do, this is what, and in fact, it has a way of building this unity among members in the organization. And when it comes about some, practical strategies that we can really use to enhance effective communication, like I earlier mentioned, the idea of practicing active listening, it's not enough for somebody to just want to speak to us and we're not paying care attention or we're being distracted. For example, section like this, beyond the fact that there's going to be recording for you to listen to, it doesn't just take so much. Just in 2-3 hours, the session will be over. Why don't you just learn to give that attention? And that's why maybe during organization meetings, when a leader is dedicating a task to you, just do well to pay attention at that particular moment. Ensure that you're listening so that you really get to respond better and really ensure that you achieve what has been delegated. Another practical example has to do when it comes to maybe you're at home now, maybe it's not even work hard, and maybe there is an emergency that comes on board and your team leader is trying to reach out to you via an email, trying to tell you to work on some things, or even maybe client feedback. Maybe you have client has come up for consultation and all, you deliver the service and the clients are not responding where you just want to respond, like your emotions are being triggered and you want to react in a way that is not having courtesy. So you just have to pause and stand. No, like, is this the best way that I could really react? And if you just take off some minutes and not reacting spontaneously, you get to know that you give a better, what's it called, feedback that will be better, and that will be able to calm whatever might be happening, and will not allow you speak in a way that might go off to the person listening. So another strategy about effective communication is the idea of being accountable. We can really say that you are having a good communication skill when you are being accountable, your immediate leader. And in fact, even a leader should be accountable to the subordinates, each and every one of them. There's a balance for them to be accountable to one another, because all of these are what enhances effective communication. If, for an instance, you're being asked to do a work and you're not able to commit to end up finishing the work at the deadline that your leader has reached out to you, you should communicate ahead. Make the person know that, okay, you are having some struggles with this. I'll not be able to meet up with this time, rather than just when it's now that time. I'm not calling your boss when it's expecting you to submit the task he has delegated to you. You're not saying, oh, so I was not able to meet up. That is not really the best you are expected to do. And that's why you have to be accountable. Inform your leader ahead of the fact of not being able to meet up with deadlines. And even when it comes to not really relating within yourself, even to clients and the potential customers and all. So another important thing is that I want us to say that when it comes to communication within the organization, mastering effective communication skill, you have to learn to contribute. Don't always nod your head. You're in a meeting, everybody's communicating, and you're shy. No, I keep saying some things. While I was growing, I grew up in an environment where I wasn't even so privileged to learn how to speak English. I speak more of my local dialect, not even Yoruba, like my local dialect. And those periods I wasn't really bold, but at least I had some organizations, some NGOs where they train young kids and all, and that was what really helped me. And they make me realize that even if what I'm saying is not going to be the right thing, I should speak. I should still get to communicate myself. And when you do all of these things, you get to become better. I remember the particular time when one of my lecturer, that was my final year, our CA was class participation. When after teaching us, we ask you, what did you learn? The moment you stand up to say one or two things, you already have 5 marks. At the end of the day, even those who we think will not communicate well in the class are shy. You see them coming up because they knew that there was a prize attached to it. Of course, there really do not need to be prize attached to us wanting to be prepared to communicate with. So whatever ideas you have, always learn to speak well. And that's why most of the time when I'm teaching students in class, I tell them, even if what you're saying, the answer you're going to give me is not going to be the best, but I learn to tell people not to look down on everyone, learn to appreciate them, because it's still boldness for them to want to come up to speak. And that's why during meetings and all, do it to always be bold enough to want to contribute. The least your leader will say that, okay, this is not really what we wanted, but you've done well. I'm very sure nobody wants to talk down on you. Yes. And another thing is that, to embrace effective communication, you must learn to, acknowledge any messages that your leader is sending to you. We're in the 21st century, most time, like organizations, we hardly communicate less through WhatsApp. You have your Gmail, and it doesn't cost anything, like, to want to let them realize that, okay, I've received the mail sent to me, the memo sent to me, the document sent to me. Times, all of these things are very, very important. It shows that we are able to communicate well, and we are having the necessary courtesy that day with communication. So, and like I earlier mentioned, that effective communication will enhance the way we get to understand ourselves, even productivity within the organization. And that's why when it even comes to understanding, to communicating, you must know that you should not shy away from feedback. Feedback is very, very important when the goal is effective communication. After I've spoken out for some time with you, I should be able to ask you, what have you learned? Be able to tell me that this is what you've learned, and be able to even ask questions. And I tell people, for somebody like me who is so passionate about growing, that feedback is never an attack. It's even a gift. It's something you should so much treasure. Sometimes you might want to feel bad that, oh, why should this person have said this? Because the thing is, most of the time, the person giving the feedback may not be so perfect, but you should just know that the person is trying to make you become better. And that's why when you listen well, feedback is how you grow. So, and that's why you should not look down on feedback. And as a member of Vishtech organization, I want to put it to us that if you are here and you really know why you're here, and you and you are really intentional about going, you must not be allergic to feedback. Like, you must not even be allergic to corrections. If not, like, growing, like becoming better will be something you struggle. Like, be open to correction. And at the same time, while we're trying to correct others, we should do it with grace. So, and never you hide under perfection that, okay, I'm just waiting for when I know the best thing to say. That's when I'm going to start communicating. That's when I'm going to start speaking and trying to say my mind. Trying to come up with an idea. No, it's the more you speak, the more you become better. I remember back then when I wanted to, start writing, and one of my leaders said, Grace, the more you write, the more you become better. Like, you write better when you write. That's don't think it's until you start learning some basic speaking grammars and all of that. No, the more you practice it, the more you become better. And that's why I'm saying that feedback is not failure, it's a fertilizer, and always use it to grow. And one amazing thing about feedback is that, okay, when it comes about this feedback, okay, how do I really receive feedback? Because a lot of persons, when they're trying to even give them the feedback, when try to even correct them, they are not even ready. And that's why, to really effectively receive the corrections that the leader, or even sometimes it can even be a subordinate trying to talk to the team leader, that, oh boss, this is what we've been noticing about you, we want you to do better, is that you must have to detach your ego. It's when there's a feedback being given to you for you to become better, just know that it is not really to talk down your personality. No, it is actually about what you're doing. And that's why nobody is really, when they're trying to correct you, it's not really an attack on your personality. No, it's just about a correction on what you're doing and how you can do it better. And that's why even when you are being corrected and all, and you don't get all the whole clarity, be willing to ask, okay, how do you think I can do better? Ask for suggestions and learn to always appreciate. Say thank you. It's hard. Sometimes when people are correcting us, maybe your leader has just reach out to you, communicate, display in what you've done. Like, learn to say thank you. It's hard to do, but it's just important. It's necessary you do it, and reflect on it. And after reflecting, ensure you do it, because the most important thing is that you act on what is being said. You don't just listen, you act on it. And that's why when you're giving feedback, like I earlier said, you have to focus on the action, not on the person, and ensure that you have an encouraging tone. It's not feeling that, okay, you're not doing well at all. No, you can just say that, okay, you can improve on this aspect. You've done well, but you can improve on this aspect. That's why you speak with what you speak with grace. So, and lastly, before I conclude now, I want to talk about, when it comes to those who are having some challenges with, improving their communication skill, I want to advise you to embrace books, like read books. One amazing thing about reading is that the more you read, reading helps the way you speak. And I remember one of my friends would tell me then that part of the reason why she watched some American movies is because she wants to improve on her intonation and all. So the more you read books, the more you listen to podcasts. Oh, sorry, that's my alarm. So the more you read books, the more you listen to podcasts, it has a way of enhancing your communication skills. And in fact, the more you speak, the more you become better. And that's why you can even do well to join some public speaking trainings. It helps you. And when you're learning how to communicate, one amazing thing about it is that you're not just learning it to promote Vishtech, but you're also learning it for yourself, to promote yourself, because there are some things when people see you do better at the organization and all, they can even be needs for them to want to reach out to you that, okay, you might come in to help us handle this and that. So that's why all of these things are what it's important for you to, embrace improving on yourself and all of that. So I want to say, by concluding, that when it comes to communicating effective communication skills and all, it is not a talent. Like, I don't want you to have the mindset, like I earlier mentioned, that some persons are gifted. It's actually a skill, and like any skill, anything that has to do with skills, you just have to practice it, refine it, and become a master at it. And that's where you are able to communicate better. Any project that is in your hands, you're able to do it, like carry out the projects well. You're able to collaborate more with others. If you notice in organizations, when you talked about people who have this way of speaking, they have a way of carrying everybody along. Nobody is left behind, because they have a way of appreciating people. People like that, people want to appreciate with them. Oh, you always have a way of speaking to me, making me realize that I'm more than this and better. So always learn to speak well, encourage one another, like be like have this empathy, have this, what's it called, see yourself beyond being a team member, like look out for one another welfare, check up on one another. All of these are important, because even why you do all of this for even clients, it makes a client to want to stay with you and also want to even recommend others to you. The way you treat clients, you see how it was called, it's evident in the way you communicate with them. So, and like I said, you don't really need to become a master overnight. The more you speak, the more you become better. And like I said, I did not really become as bold as this, like good as this. It was because I keep embracing personal development. I keep working on myself, and today I'm better. And that's why I want to end with saying that do not wait to get better. Let's embrace personal, like what's it called, effective communication skills now. Let's speak with intention. Let's listen with care. Effective listening, like listening with care, it's very, very important. And let's build a culture at Vishtech where every voice matters. And I know that Mr. No, Engineer No is really paying attention to that, making everybody realize that the voice matters, and every message moves us closer, to our shared vision. So once again, thank you so much. I think I'm able to meet up with time or not. I did not really exceed the time. So
Wow.
thank you. Thank you, sir.
Miss Grace giving it hot, hot, hot. It's so deep and very, very elaborate. I was speaking every single point you were raising there. One of the things that stood out for me is how you define the power of communication in the excellence of the success of any system, of any organization. And for us to get it right as an entity, we have to master the power of communication. And this is quite an invitation again to every member of Vishtech. Please, Ms. Grace has emphasized, I could hear the emphasis she was laying on the need for us to master how we communicate and our feedback as well, how we give feedback and how we receive feedback. Thank you so much, Ms. Grace. This is so elaborate. And to anybody have a question to ask her live here? Anybody at the moment? Does anybody have a question to ask?
I have a
Please, if you
question.
have a question, please unmute. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Grace, for this insightful presentation. My question is on public speaking, communication. Like for me, I express myself more in writing than talking. Sometimes I have a lot of ideas I want to talk, but sometimes because of the fear I don't know of public speaking, I refrain from that. So please, can you tell me ways I can improve on my public speaking communication? Thank you.
All right, that's really a brilliant question, and I want to say something that I think. Let me start by saying that where the problem was when our society have a way of telling us that some persons are naturally gifted, born to be a good speaker. Why I'm saying this is because ordinarily every writer is an orator. Like, let me try to say it. Every writer is an orator. It's because society have a way of making some persons feel bad because of that tone. I have a particular lecturer in the school where I am, and the man always speak, and he speak with boldness. He said, "My mother tongue shows like in his accent and all, and I'm proud of it." I think one of the primary reasons why you've not started communicating is not really because you don't know what to say, but you're thinking of maybe the grammars. Are there going to really be some grammar check? Am I saying was instead of is? Am I saying am instead of was? You are so concerned about what people will have to say. So if you take your mind off what people will have to say and you're expressing yourself, before you know, like you start, what's it called? You start expressing yourself better. And of course, the fact that you're taking your mind off what people will have to say is not really because you are not going to improve on yourself. No, not saying you should not improve on yourself. But the thing is just that you've been able to step out of your comfort zone. But I have to tell you, every writer is an orator, because for you to write, it shows you communicate. You are speaking to someone, right? Like what you are writing. Anything you are trying to write is an expression. You just decide to not want to speak out. So want to allow the person to look at it with their eyes and all. So what I want to say is that to really, what's it called, overcome that fear. Like, just keep speaking, like, just speak out, like, be bold, like, forget about what people have to say, whether they say that, look at the grammar, look at this, and look at the way she speaks, look at her accent. Just, like, don't be so much concerned about what people have to say. Just take your mind off it, that you're the only one speaking and you can't really hear what people are saying. So, because if you are not really taking your mind off what people have to say, you're not able to come out of the shell, like, you're not able to overcome the fear. So the most important thing is that just take out the fear of what will people say. Like, if people really understand me, no, just start communicating. The more you do it, the more you become better. And the moment you start, like, always give room for feedback. Like, what I'm saying, if you give room for feedback, is that have friends around you. Even the way I am now, like, when I finish some sections, like, even some things I get to share, I share it with my friend. Okay, this is what I've done. What are the corrections? Do you think it's better? So, what should I improve on? The fact that even sometimes that I get those feedback very late. For an instance, maybe I'm almost coming up with my sections and I was asked to remove one or two things. Let me give an example. There was an international conference I attended. My university hosted it, the first one, my faculty, and hybrid one. And I've prepared my papers and I wanted to speak on. I'm presenting the paper like for publication and all. And I had to send it out to one of my leaders to help me check. And he did some corrections at the late hour. And the funny thing was that I can no longer effect those corrections on paper, and I'm to speak, and I'm giving what's it called, the panels, the paper. So and at the same time, I cannot start saying something different from what is on my paper. They're going to challenge me. Do you know what I did? I went ahead to speak, and I was now open for their feedback. I was not saying that, okay, and they're going to say it is not good enough. No, I did not start concluding. And at the end of the day, the errors were so obvious, but they still appreciated the little work I'm doing. So for anybody who's saying that I am more comfortable with writing, but I don't really want to speak, it's just because the person is more concerned about what people have to say. So if you really want to start communicating, take your mind off what people have to say. But at the same time, after you're done speaking, give room for feedback. Ask people, okay, am I getting better? What do I need to improve on? Just be open to feedback, and that's how you're going to look back after some months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, and you start seeing that you're becoming better. Because the more you work on something, the more you practice something, the more you become better. Just like a child who is making the first attempt. Let me give an example now. A normal child, when a child is crawling and they want to start walking, do you know that when any people are there, they will decide to not want to stand. They will keep crawling. But the moment they realize that nobody is looking at them, they want to take a leap of faith to want to stand up. They'll fall down again. When they realize that nobody is looking at them, they'll take a leap. But most of the time, when they are focusing on that people are looking at them, you see that child, they will sit on the spot. They won't want to make attempt because they know that people are going to laugh at them. Or that's the same way. So when you want to start communicating, you're already a writer. That's brilliant. So just challenge yourself, take up a challenge. Maybe you can always, for some of us, I think I did not really make that emphasis, and that's because I was trying to catch up with time and because I have other commitments now. So I want to make emphasis on the fact that embrace the social media handles. No, somebody really needs to call you. You can just take up your challenge, whatever you've written, or whatever any area of life you feel like addressing. Just do some video recordings, put it out there, wait for people feedback, like just send that some of your friends. Am I getting better? What do I need to improve on and all of that? So that will really help you, because you really, one of the things that makes you shine, become better in any organization you find yourself, your ability to communicate, because it really makes people know that no, you are here and you're really carrying people along. So I think that will work better if you are not really concerned about what people will say, or see it as an opportunity for you to improve on yourself and become better. So just focus on the growth, that I'm seeing this opportunity to grow. I don't mind what people have to say, but at the same time, I'm embracing the feedback. Whether it is constructive feedback, I'm embracing it to become better. So that's what I want to say regarding that.
What do
Thank
you
you.
have to say? Yeah, great. Thank you, Miss Miss Grace. That was very, very intense, very, very intense. And you see, I think I can also relate to the response you gave concerning that about making an attempt to speak and speak. I think my years of experience now, I've had the opportunity to train people of different professions, in big halls, in small halls, and all. And I've also had the opportunity to grace conference, proceedings, to give presentations and all and all. But just by confirming what she said, buttressing that, there was a point in my time in my life where I was also finding it difficult to express, and I find it very hard to actually express. I love it. I love speaking. I love teaching. Right? But to 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 want to confront that population, to want to express by talking was quite a problem for me. And at some point, I was feeling this sense of inferiority as well with my kind of diction, my kind of accent. And I'll be like, why have I not sounded too sharp? No, no, no. But then I remember sharing with a friend, and she was like, no, no, you don't have to want to present what you are not. Just show who you are. Speak what you have, and what people want to hear is the value you are delivering. It's not about the eloquence. Yes, it's art up, right? But then it's not really about the eloquence. But even if you are eloquent, if you're not giving value, it will make sense too. So I think that really gives the best answer. You have to. If you are not doing it, you can't know if you are improving or not. It's something you do. Now, when I climb on stage to give a lecture or to give a training, there's this confidence I go with now. There's kind of, passion I go with now. When you sit to listen to my lecture or listen to my training, I think you will love it because I know it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very interesting because of the intentional growth and on and on. So you just have to keep doing. And this is what I've been doing over the years. It's more like a loop and doing it over and over and again. It becomes easier. It becomes easier. I love doing it. So one, love doing it. Keep doing it. Thank you so much, Miss Grace, for that insight. And we got a review for you from our second speaker, Engineer Peter, our international engineer. He gave out his review. That was a very, very rich section. And in fact, it's all obvious that this is quite rich. And I also want to invite my colleagues to please let's implement these things. Let's make use of them in our deliveries, in our personal lives, in our professional lives, and it will be an honor to all our speakers to see that we are growing based on what they've trained us on. So once again, Ms. Grace, I want to use this opportunity to thank you. Personally, I'm grateful because I know how busy you can be, and for sparing out time to be part and even wait till your time was quite. You came in quite late because we had to delay you, and you still stayed till that time for us. We are very, very grateful. We do not take your time. We do not take you for granted. We are very, very grateful. And this on behalf of everyone, on behalf of Vishtech, I'm saying thank you. Thank you so much. And we hope we also have the grace to have you again at any point in time we reach out. I hope we have that grace.
Yes, that's not an issue. I'll always be available. No problem, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for the
much. Yeah,
feedback. Thank
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do anyone have any comment to give to her? Anybody? Naomi, do you have a comment?
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Grace. Your session was very rich. I am somebody that's very passionate about public speaking, and this is a very good opportunity for me. I've listened to everything you said, and the part where you said listening for feedback, it really stood out for me because when it comes to effective communication, we have to be open to constructive criticism so we can do better. So thank you very much. I hope to be part of your session when next we would be having you either in Vishtech or when next you'll be hosting a public speaking class. Thank you very much. It's a
you. All
pleasure
right. Thank
to
you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Naomi, for spotting that out. So please, we would love to always receive invitation for any of your conferences going forward. Yeah, regarding communication, regarding public speaking. I think personally something I'm actually also working on personally because I find myself in a situation where I have to talk most often. I have to present, I have to train and on and on. So I also want to develop my public speaking. I want to be able to climb the stage and get and grab the attention of everybody instantly. I want that magic. So I would love to be a part of it as well. All right. So any other comments? Okay, so thank you, Miss Grace, and we'll just move on to the next stage. It's been a glassy stage. We are on a glass stage, and you can see it's really a glass stage. So now we are moving to another part of our glass stage, which is the last section for today, financial management. And our speaker is a notable and a quite accomplished individual when it comes to this niche, and his years of experience, his weight of experience is something we can't actually pay for. Really, we can't pay for that weight of experience, but we found grace. Yeah, I'm going to be using that word a lot because we even had grace ourselves come here, so we found grace to have his time, to have him spend some time with us to talk about financial management. So I want us to really put our minds together again to listen to this intensive training on financial management. Yes. So Mr. Moses Agbara will be taking this section of financial management, and Mr. Moses is an accomplished professional with a strong commitment to youth development. For over a decade, he has been actively engaged in designing and implementing projects that aims to bridge gap between young people's current circumstances and their aspirations. So, with a background in electronics engineering and a certification as a project manager associate, Moses combined his technical expertise with a passion for making a positive impact on the lives of youth. As the Director of Programs for the Youth Initiative for Sustainable Human Development in Africa, Moses plays a crucial role in overseeing and managing the organization program and initiatives. With his extensive experience in the field of youth development, he possesses a comprehensive understanding of the challenges and opportunities involved in this work. Moses excels in strategic thinking, ensuring paying meticulous attention to administrative details. One of Moses' notable strengths is his ability to transform obstacles into seamless opportunities. His exceptional work ethic and dedication to his cause enable him to navigate challenges effectively and find innovative solutions. Moses' commitment to personal growth is evident through his continuous pursuit of professional trainings in areas such as project management, leadership, system thinking, and sustainable development. This enables him to remain at the forefront of the field and designing programs that address the evolving need of young people, making him an invaluable asset in empowering and supporting the next generation. It's an honor to have him here with us at this time. And just like I said, he has this weight and weight of experience that would expose us to how to manage financial capacity, financial assets, and what have us regarding finances. So please pay attention, and it's going to be an awesome time with Mr. Moses. Mr. Moses, thank you so much for coming, and we are so honored to have you speak to us. So, Mr. Moses, I'm excited to call on you now to start the section.
All right. Thank you, Engineer Oper. It's really a pleasure for me to be invited to speak on financial management and to interact with this wonderful team. Congratulations on the groundbreaking for Vishtech Integrated Innovation. And our concerted prayer is that the organization that has come forth will not go back in, but we continue to make giant strides in impacting our world. So without much ado, and because of the constraint of time, I would just proceed to share my screen. I think the little that has been read about me is sufficient for this session. So, needless to say, I'm not a financial expert. From my background, you would see that my interest is in program project management, and I have had the vast experience over a decade managing projects and programs for the organization I represent. Can you see my screen? Can anybody confirm if you can hear me and if you can see
Yes,
my screen?
I can see your screen, but it's not on slideshow yet.
Okay, so I'm a little bit confused on. Am I supposed to put it on slideshow before? Okay, let me see if.
So maybe you can now reshare the slideshow now.
Yes. So the challenge is that
If you're on
the
slideshow,
slide.
if you have put it on slideshow, then you can just reshare to show the slideshow.
Okay, it's just that I don't seem to find a way back
Okay, let
to
me
the Telegram. Should I send the document to you? With other
please check.
systems, I'm supposed to be able to
Yeah, please
control
check
it
your
right from the screen here.
please check your DM. Let me give you please check your DM.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
No notes.
Mm.
Are you able to do that?
Okay, I'm on it.
Okay, great.
Are you able to see the screen?
Not yet. Can you reshare? Not yet. Can you cancel and then probably reshare? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how about now?
Great, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is the screen moving?
Yes, perfectly. Perfectly.
So please confirm that what you're seeing is building systems that deliver impact.
And
Yeah.
that's what I can see from my side.
Okay. Okay, great. Great. All right. So thank you everyone for your patience while we go through this technology. Telegram is new to me. I didn't even know that Telegram does what do we call it? Screen sharing and all. Yeah. But notwithstanding, um, I'm happy to be here, like I mentioned earlier. And this afternoon, we will be looking at the role of effective financial management as it relates to building systems that deliver impact. I saw from the letter written to invite me to this program that the theme of the retreat you're having is building systems that deliver impact. And I begin to wonder, I believe strongly that effective financial management has a crucial role to play here. From my years of experience, I have seen that every sustainable project or any project that have stand the test of time is a product or one of the key components is effective financial management. No matter how good an idea is, if you miss these aspects we're about to talk about, then in a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, there will be no sustainability for that idea. So let's continue by considering the objectives that have been mandated to speak on. There are 4 key objectives that we would look at addressing through this presentation. The first one is that we will need to gain foundational financial literacy that is relevant to project budgeting, resource planning, and reporting. The second objective that we should accomplish at the end of this session is that you who are listening to me should have an idea on how you can improve your financial discipline, and that should translate to you incorporating this discipline in your day-to-day decision, both personally and as you work to manage the organizational tasks. The third thing we would consider here is understanding of financial documentation processes. It is very important that finances are well documented. What is not documented can easily be forgotten, and when it is required, it only creates chaos because it is not documented. And of course, if it's documented, it still have to be filed in a place where it is accessible by relevant stakeholders. So the last point we will look at before the session ends is an insight into how resource management contributes to the growth of scalable systems and long-term impact of that. Okay, with that being said, we will move to the next slide, which is a query on financial management. Financial management, by definition, are activities that involves planning, organizing, directing, and controlling personal and as well as organization financial resources to achieve specific goals. Now, from this definition, which is more like a dictionary definition, you will see that financial management does not just have to do with the organization. It has everything to do with you, the worker. It has everything to do with your personal money as well. How you manage your money or plan it, among other things that we have said in the definition, has everything to do with how you would be managing organizations' finances. So it is very, very crucial and essential that we understand this trend. So this session is not just about those in the accounting section. No, it's about every worker of Vishtech. How, because you would certainly at some point in time as you work be involved with finances at some level. Whether you are HR, whether you are admin, finances will come through you in some way. How you plan, how you organize, and how you control the use of those finances is what we call financial management. So with that being said, I'll move to the next slide. If you have questions, you can keep them for me to the end of the presentation. So the first thing we seek to achieve from our objective was project financial management. How do we manage projects as it relates to finances? And here, right here, you will see that everything that I will be saying or we would be doing is going to be connected to or directed at a project. But I want you to have an open mind and see that the lessons we are getting from this one aspect of financial management how that relates to you as a person, how that relates to you as an admin, how that relates to you as a HR, and so on and so forth. So that's basically what we will do. It is an all-encompassing lesson that we cannot finish within the time given. So project financial management, by way of definition now, will be how you plan to spend, to coordinate spending or financing for a project. I'm saying this now in a lay-term means, and I'm going to use a case study to guide us through it. Now, if Vishtech plans to train 100 students on AI in research and project writing case study, writing rather, what are the key things that we think will come into the fore? I have loose control of the Telegram. I'm only seeing my screen that I'm sharing. Like I said, I don't know. This is new technology to me. So I'm not able to call names. And you pardon me that I may not be able to make this class as interactive as I had planned it to be. I will be the only person speaking. Please pardon me. And that's because I have not mastered this technology. Please. Now, this session is supposed to be something that would be interactive for us, where I ask questions, but right now I can't see your names. I know you can hear me, but please do confirm that you can hear me before I continue.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, great. So please pardon me for my inability to make it a group discussion, because I can't see your names to call you out. So, if Vishtech plans to train 100 students on AI in research and project writing, the first thing that you would need to do as a team, as it relates to, I'm going to talk strictly on the financial part, having conceived or have an idea of what this training will look like. The next thing is the financial content. We need to come up with a budget that will guide the spending for this training. 100 students on AI in research and project writing. So what is budgeting? Budgeting is simply an outline, a financial outline of how you intend to generate funds and spend it. So, and of course, it can have quantities, it can have a column for remarks. But the two crucial elements of a budget is where the money is coming, okay, or the money available for the process, the items that needs to be spent to achieve the project, and how much each item costs. That is budgeting. And it is not so far different from cost estimation. So, before we go into cost estimation, a budget line can actually include things like venue. You must, of course, think of this training for 100 students. Where would it happen? So some venues may be free, some should be or can be paid for. But let's assume in this case scenario that we are paying for the venue. For that reason, it has to be an important line on the budget, because if there is no venue, there will be no training. The second, because it has to do with AI, I want to believe that technology will play a part, and where technology in our context comes in is the use of either mobile phones or computer systems. So you have a line for internet. Of course, individuals can come with their phones. You may not need to make provisions for phones for them. So internet is crucial. You may have a line for backup power supply. Right now, as this course is going on, I'm using my power. But if I'm within your space, you have to make provision. Okay, what if the power goes off? Does my laptop have enough charge? The projector, will it work offline and other things? So you have to make provision for backup supply on your budget. Maybe you are renting a generator, or you are buying fueling to put in the generator you have. And then another very important line, honorarium for the resource person. So as I'm speaking now, I'm sure Engineer Okpe is already calculating how many dollars is going to pay me for facilitating this session. So, and that's just by the side anyway. Honorarium for all the facilitators you need to invite for this activity is key. You put that as part of your budget line. Then the participants, are you going to feed them? You have to think about that. How long are we keeping them? What should be the refreshment for this? So maybe a snack and drink, maybe a full lunch, maybe tea break and lunch break, because you're keeping them for longer hours. So with that consideration, which you may have thought about from the project conception and design phase, the financial part has to come in and say, okay, this is how much you would also put down for lunch. And then every budget must have an important line called miscellaneous for things that you may not have factored in, unforeseen circumstances that will come for you to spend on, okay, that are very, very important to you achieving the project, implementation of the project as best as you can. You see, you cannot run away from that. You have to have a miscellaneous line. Some persons will say it's 10% of the entire budget lines above, because miscellaneous come deep down. It's usually like the last line before your totals. So 10% of everything that is above may go for miscellaneous. Some even go higher depending on what project they are managing, and some might go lower. But the whole idea is to be able to make provisions for unforeseen circumstances. So your budget is set, and if you put that on a workbook like sheets, it can help you with some formulation to calculate how much it will cost for the project, for the training of 100 students on AI in research and project writing. So that's an idea of what budgeting is. And we'll still maybe touch on it again, but let me go through other things that are on the aspect of financial management. So with the budgeting, you have clearly a direction on how financial spendings should happen. I repeat, with budgeting, you have a clearly outlined direction on what finances or how finances should be spent, and what they should be spent for, and what should be given priority. So that being said, the second thing on financial management is cost estimation, which kind of ties into how your budgeting will come about. You have to be able to estimate. Cost estimation is just you predicting what the cost of an item will be. I mean, we are not training them today, the 100 students. Otherwise, we'll not be in this training right now. We'll be at the venue. We are training them next week, or in 2 weeks' time, or in the next quarter. So you have to think in 3 months' time, where this training will take place, how much would be the cost of lunch? Today's price might be 5,000 per lunch. Will it still be the same price next 1 month? Will it be the same price in the next 3 months? So you should be able to estimate, okay? And these estimates are what tie into your budgeting, the lines in your budgeting. You know, I mentioned the lines, the venue, the internet, the backup supply, honorarium, and so on. Okay, so lunch might be one thing that we can all relate to, that there is inflation. The prices of things in the market go up and down. So a caterer might say, no, 5,000 that you budgeted in January does not buy you lunch in May. And that can really affect your project. So cost estimation is crucial. And there's what we call allowance in budgeting and cost estimation. If you estimate that an item will cost 100 naira today, while making a budget, it may be safer for you to put 120 so that you can cover for unforeseen circumstances at the point of purchase or as the days go by. So that's about cost estimation. It's just you predicting and making calculated guesses on what the price item should be. It can also be backed by an effective and adequate research. You can actually go to the market and say, what is the price of this? What is the price of that? So your market research can fall part of your cost estimation, which will feed into your budgeting. So the next thing we will talk about, which is number 3, is the financial tracking. In project management, as it relates to finances, you should be able to track what you are spending on. And what gives you the leverage to do that is your budgeting. You see, the budget is the document that does what? guides and directs you on how finances should be spent. Okay, so you come back to that aspect. You come back to your budget as you are disbursing the funds. Oh, the logistic team need to buy fuel. You give them the money for fuel. Oh, we need to pay for venue. You give the money for venue. We need to subscribe internet. You subscribe internet. You have to on the same budgeting, either in a column for those line items or on a separate sheet on the same workbook, have what a recorded details of spending. Number one, venue, 100,000. Number two, lunch, 5,000 per head times 100. And these are actually now in the tracking, or in fact, it's actually, we're already talking about financial reporting, which helps us in tracking. So when you outline these spendings and you put assigned figures on how you are spending them, financial tracking in this sense means how you are able to monitor and evaluate your spending. So you come back to the document, you looked at it. Oh, we proposed earlier that venue will be 80,000, but at the point of paying, we paid 100,000. You know, of course, that you already have a minus on that line, that you have surpassed your spending for that allocation of hall by 20,000. So it moves from there to other line items. So tracking simply means going through your expenses and putting them side by side, what is budgeted for, to understand how the spendings are made and what is being spent for. So it will shock you that when you now come to your tracking and the financial reporting, you see that some items that were not there and are not or could not have been part of the financial miscellaneous are now reflecting on the budget. For instance, you now see that while tracking, there's an expense that says project manager have shared 20,000 to all the personnel that are on site. Meanwhile, in the budget, there was no provision for personnel. Maybe per adventure you work based on salary, so your salary is not included in the project. It's actually included in the organizational budgeting. You see, that's already a red flag. Financial tracking would flag it and say, this item was not budgeted for, and questions will need to be asked as well as answered. So financial reporting just have to do with a responsible way of saying, I was given 5 naira and I spent it this way and this way and this way. It's just a means of accountability, that what you are giving, you are able to provide clear explanations as to how you went about disbursing or spending them, and the evidence that shows that happened. So it's not just sufficient that, I'm writing we paid 100,000 for venue. You should have a receipt to show that you paid 100,000 for venue. It can be the transfer receipt, it can be a receipt from the person who has received these funds saying that, yes, we collected 100,000 on behalf of Vishtech to use our space from ABCDE persons. So that is an aspect of financial reporting. There's a lot about financial reporting. I think we're going to see that when we go to financial documentation, if time permits us. So I hope we are together to this point in time. What we have looked at now is a rough explanation or guide on how you can come up with a budgeting process for a proposed project. If you are together with me, can you just echo that we are together? So I'll move to the next slide. Okay. I want to believe we are together. Maybe we are muted. So let me go to the next slide.
Yeah, we're together.
Oh, awesome. So the second objective we seek to achieve today has to do with financial discipline. Financial discipline. And financial discipline is just the practice or habits that aid an individual or organization to make smart financial decision. Smart financial decision. Now, for you to be financially disciplined, there are 4 character or habits that you must have. Or probably let me say skill. No, these are actually character. The first one is responsibility. Taking control over financial decision is what responsibility means. You have to respond to your ability to manage or control the finances under you. So whether it's 10 naira, whether it's 100 million, whether it's 1 billion, as long as you've been entrusted with these finances, know that you are responsible for controlling it. So a project manager who is sitting on 100 million and has project officers under him cannot say that because he has given 20 million to project officer to go and implement 1 or 2 tasks, that he, the project manager, is not still responsible for the 20 million that has gone out. Organization know they gave you 100 million. When it comes to reporting, you have to report 100 million. It cannot just be that, 20 million was given to project officer, so project officer has to be the one to account for 20 million. You have to, as part of your responsibility, you have to ensure that that 20 million that has gone out is channeled to what it is meant for, and proper documentation, proper recording, and in fact, following the procedures for your financial policies are adhered to. That is the aspect of responsibility that has to do with financial discipline. You have to be responsible. You cannot just say, see, I've given him the money, he should go and do what he wants. If you like, he should buy the item. If you like, he should not buy it. If you like, he should go and buy a cheap one. If you like, he should go and buy, you cannot be that careless. You cannot be that careless. It's a call for responsibility. The second one is self-control. There are people who do not currently have savings because of impulsive buying. Impulsive buying is buying that is undocumented, unbudgeted for. So, as we are planning our training in Abuja University for 100 students, we now discovered that this hall can benefit from some flowers. As we are just walking by the road or driving, we just saw these beautiful flowers. We say, this hall can benefit from the use of flowers. Oh, please stop, let's buy it, stop. And then you buy it. That is called impulsive purchase. As much as it will add color to the ambience of the training, because it is undocumented, it is unbudgeted for, it should not be spent on. I mean, there is no budget line for it, and it doesn't, quote and unquote, fall under your miscellaneous spendings. Don't buy it. There are people who are broke today because of impulsive buying. They just walk on the street, they see a shoe, and they already have like 20 shoes at home because of the same impulsive buying. They pass, they see a shoe. I cannot do without this shoe. This shoe is so fine. It looks so good on my leg, even without me wearing it. If I don't pick it home today, I'm not sure I will sleep well. And they just reach into their pocket, into their account, and they are buying. That's impulsive buying. Such people lack self-control. When it comes to your finances and organization finances, you must exercise self-control. You must allow yourself go back to the documents that are guiding you, which is in this case your budget, and say, what did the budget say? This is what we should spend on. Then you spend on it. Not things that are not on the budget, that are only by impulse. The third thing is patience. You must have the virtue of patience. And patience in this context simply means you are prioritizing long-term financial success over short-term. And you see, we are talking about financial success here. It ties greatly into organizational success, like I established from when we started. Now, let me give us a scenario here. The moment you hit a jackpot this year, the monies you plan to make, the profit you plan to make started hitting in. 20 million inside account, 50 million from training in the second quarter. You say, Now is the time for us to begin to buy cars. We need to make our staff comfortable. So you decide to buy cars for each of your staff member. What you are doing is you are exercising an absence of patience. And yes, because as a growing or a startup business, you need time to invest in the business. In fact, you have to invest and invest and invest for the business to stabilize. Let me give us one instance. First Bank right now may not have a problem buying cars for top managers across all their branches. They won't have a problem buying it because they've been here for long. They are well established financially. They have a strong financial base that no matter whether they make profit within a year or 2 or 3, it may not really shake them that much. If they run at losses consistently for a year, 2 or 3, they are still okay. But Vishtech is coming online. The priority should not be on spendings, right, that do not tie into long-term plans and long-term sustainability of the organization. And this is not me saying that, oh, staff welfare should be secondary. No, of course, staff welfare may not necessarily be in terms of buying expensive things like cars. It can just be showing appreciation of bonuses, increasing wages, but calculatedly, I repeat. Okay, so patience is key. And let me also speak maybe to the CEO who is also listening. It won't be the time, sir, for you to say, okay, it's time for lavish lifestyle. We have labored to start this and it has started yielding great profit. So let's go to vacation in Hawaii. Let's go. Patience. You will go to vacation in Hawaii. You will go to anywhere you want to go, you get. Now is the time to do what? To plow back into Vishtech to ensure that it has a good financial base. So put that side by side, maybe your plan to expand to Kaduna, to Jos, and have offices there. It will be good for you to invest in those locations because they will bring in good returns than the vacations. So, but everything takes patience. Like the saying, the patient dog eats the fattest bone, which in other quotas have been, of course, there are other intonations, but it still remains. And in Hausa, they said, he who is patient can cook a stone and drink the broth that will come from it. So patience is key in financial discipline. Otherwise, you will make decisions that can ruin the organization. I think I need to go very fast now. Accountability is another thing. I've talked about accountability when I was speaking about responsibility. Accountability comes in. We have to go and review. How are we spending? Are the documents there to back it up? I gave 2 naira to this person. What did he use it for? Is that activity complete? As a manager, you must do that. As someone who has also been entrusted with money to do certain things within your sphere, within your sphere of authority, you should be able to also be accountable. Say, okay, this thing is meant for the purchase of ABCD. Maybe we want to buy laptops for staff. Ensure that the best quality laptops are gotten for the money that was made available. So that's on financial discipline. It is a habit that with consistency and intentionality can be practiced to become an organizational culture. If you have any questions on this point, you can please pen it down. I'm going to the third part of our conversation this afternoon, which is the third objective, and it has to do with financial documentation. I have touched on this, but we're going to look at or talk about it a little bit again. So financial documentation has to do with a means of accountability. Money is given, money has to be accounted for. That is the simplest form of explaining it. And there are documents that help us to be accountable. The first one is the budget, which we have talked about over and over. Because Vishtech is not a non-profit organization, but for profit, there has to be a financial forecast. In the first quarter of our operation, how much are we looking at earning? In the second quarter, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter of the year. You can even have forecasts, financial forecasts for years. Okay, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years financial forecast, even up to 10 if you have the energy to do that. But the beauty of this is that you get started. You can do it on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, starting small and growing to forecasting even your 20 years forecast. In 20 years time, how much can we make doing what we are doing now? Very, very important. I've talked about budgeting. Budgeting is something that is short term. Within a year, within a month, within a specific program, you can have a budget. But forecast is predicting how much income or even possible expenditures that you want to make within a short or long period of time. So forecast is more of predictive. Budgeting is already precise. You are sure we want to do this. Okay, so and this is what should guide us in financially to achieve it. So the second thing is invoicing and billing. So we have forecasted that, and part of our forecast says that this month or this quarter we are going to have training for 1,000 people and we will generate 100 million from it. So peradventure, there are institutions you are reaching out to and saying, give us 100 students who will pay 10,000 naira for us to train them for 2 hours. If they've agreed and accepted for you to train them, the next thing you want to do, because you are for profit, is to provide them an invoice. This is a bill showing what we want to do and the cost of it so that payments can be made. We need to receive payments, even if it is part payment, as a form of commitment to us doing this. So invoicing comes in, billing comes in, and it's just a document stating activity to be done and account details for payment to be made into to show commitment. And then the third thing is a financial statement. There are different financial statements depending on the organization you find yourself. In the case of for-profit businesses, what you have are balance sheets, which shows a document that actually shows the financial position of your organization per term within a period. So within the first quarter of 2025, what is your balance sheet showing? And it has to do with your assets, your liability, and your equity. What are you invested into in terms of monetary value? What are you liable for? Maybe you have borrowed money here or there. And then put all that together, you have your assets. So balance sheets in summary form is just your financial position. Banks use it a lot when they want to decide if they want to give you a loan or not. They want to see where are you standing financially. That's the document that tells them. We have the income statement, which is more or less a profit and loss account. How much is coming in? How much are we spending? Coming in from where? From our trainings, from the invoice we gave to 10, 20 clients, okay? From products we are selling and all that. That is an income statement. So it will show the flow. Cash flow is also a similar document that shows how cash is coming in and going out. So these are actually documents that can be leveraged on as the need arises, that can be instrumental in helping us have a robust financial management ethic. Finally, on that is the expense report. As a staff, you are giving money to go and execute one or two things on behalf of the organization. The documentation process is an expense report. There could be templates that can be generated to have the description of the item and all that. And I think there's a part of this presentation we'll be looking at that will speak clearly about processes. There is a process for how cash should be released in an organization. And it's very, very crucial that staff members know that. So that when you want to retire those documentation for the finances, you use or utilize the appropriate template and you document it. For some organizations, money don't come out until you apply for it. For some, you can even go out to the extent of using the funds that you have, carry out the tax, then come with evidence, and it's done. And there are instances where you find yourself in the field where it is maybe impossible for you to get what do we call it, feedback or approval for certain expenses that are important, you can do those expenses and come back and write an expense report and say, okay, I've spent this on behalf of the organization and I'm asking for a reimbursement. So these are very important financial documents. So remember, it starts with a budget. What you have in your budget and forecast will flow to invoicing. From invoicing, you have financial statements, financial records. Okay, remember that previously when I was speaking here about financial management, and we talked about financial reporting and tracking, and I said even within the budget sheets or adventure you are leveraging on an Excel sheet, within that sheet you can have a workbook, you can have a sheet where your expenditures are documented, so that you can make reference to the budget, you can make reference to the expenses at a go, and you have a vivid picture of where your financial standing is. So let's go to the last point, which is on the benefits of, or the last objective. What is the benefit of doing all these three things we've mentioned? How does this tie into helping our organization, which is a startup now, to become a conglomerate? The first thing about financial resource management is that it increases efficiency and growth for both an individual and the organization. So you need to optimize your resources and allocate them to where they are most needed so that you reduce waste. If we are in production, we should be able to outline where is the product that gives us more money and how much the cost associated with that process. So optimization in this case has to do with looking for the least or the least cost effective way to maximize profit without compromising quality. Okay, and every business minded person thinks that way. Even the billionaires of our time, they think in that direction. How do we reduce costs so that we can maximize what? Profit. Example, if an item can be made with 20,000 and the same item can be made with 15,000, but maybe different production means but the same result, I believe everybody here would go with 15,000 because it will give us what? The same quality, the same result. I don't think anybody will want to say, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and spend 20,000 to get it done. Maybe you have two vendors that are telling you they want to give you the same quality. The same quality. Now, my emphasis on quality. The same quality, but different prices. It is important and expedient that you go with the least, the one that will cost less, if the terms and conditions are still favorable. And when I mean by terms and conditions, the time of delivery and other factors. So we are assuming in this context that everything remains the same. Everyone in their right thinking will go for what? 15,000 cost of production, so that when we are selling the item at 25,000, we will make a 10,000 naira gain, as opposed to when we spend 20,000 to make it and we are making what? A 5,000 naira profit. So you see, financial resource management is crucial in efficiency and growth. The 10,000 you have generated, 5,000 can go back to managing our company activities, and 5,000 can be planned for the future of expansion of the business. So the second point here that relates to the benefit of effective financial resource management has to do with the fact that it will improve your financial performance. There is nothing like that beats financial stability and profitability for an organization. Nothing. When you consider that this organization is financially stable, you want to invest in it. It's something that is quite attractive to investors. Tomorrow, if anybody comes that your CEO will be speaking to and say, come and invest in Vishtech, the next thing they want to see is, can I see your forecast? Can I see your financial documents? In the last 3-4 years, where are your audited reports? Let us see it to know if this organization is what? Financially stable. Can we see your forecast for the next 2, 3, 4 years? so that we will know that our money is in good hands. Okay? Effective financial management ensures that there is stability. And of course, your organization will make profit when you adhere to this regulation. So the third point is that it enhances the decision-making process and also help the organization to be competitive. Building a strong financial foundation is essential to how you are going to compete in a market that is very competitive. The organization may not be the only one within the sphere of what you want to do, even if you are the one starting the idea. Tomorrow there will be one with a similar idea. There will be another, and it continues. There is no monopoly in the field. So you are not the only one doing that. How do you withstand competition, especially if you need to invest in modern equipment, technology that can help you to do the work better than your competitors? It's impossible if you do not have or you do not manage your resources, financial resource effectively. It will be very, very impossible for you to do that. The last point here is your long-term success. For you to achieving sustained growth, for you to scale up and really impact your environment has to be backed by a good financial or effective financial resource management. Of course, when we talk about impact, let me talk about a key component of organizations that are for profit is the fact that they are required by law to think about what they will do for their community. And it can be that, okay, the community where Vishtech is situated, or they need boreholes, they need water. And Vishtech can say, well, our financial standing is good enough. Let's go and bore holes for them. Let's ensure they have clean water to drink. How can you do that if you have a messed up financial system? How can you do that if there is no accountability and transparency and everybody is reaching out and doing what they want to do with finances? It becomes impossible. How about the long-term vision of the CEO and the organization at large? Maybe your plan in the next 10, 20 years is to expand to all the regions in Nigeria. It requires money to do that. You cannot achieve sustained growth without all that. You cannot scale up. You cannot say, okay, let's take it a top notch and begin to expand our base, expand our scope of operation. It must be that you have a very robust and effective financial resource management. So now, what tools can be helpful in this case? I just highlighted two things that I know that I've used. One is spreadsheet. I've been mentioning spreadsheet, and it's as simple as our Excel or our Google Sheet. This tool is a powerful tool that can help you in budgeting and tracking your expenses. I've said it over and over in this presentation. You can use that your Excel to outline it. It can help you to calculate it with simple basic calculation. It's not rocket science for you to use Excel for these things. Believe me, it's basic. It's basic sum, minus, plus, addition, product, and all, which you can do, and it will help you to be able to track and ensure that what you are projecting as a budget is accurate. The analyses are accurate, as long as the formula is correct. Okay, and in tracking the finances, is still put it side by side, do the mathematics, and you would also see how much was spent on this and what is the balance. So spreadsheets can be helpful, and we have other financial apps that a lot of organizations use today. We're talking of the QuickBooks, Wave Accounting, Zoho, Odoo, etc. And some of them are actually free, while some require you to pay a token, while some you have to pay heavily for them. But regardless, these tools help individuals and generally organizations to be able to manage their finances effectively. So what are my recommendations for Vishtech? I have outlined 4 as part of this discussion this afternoon. The first one is that Vishtech must have a financial policy document that says how finances will be requested for, who approves them, how they will be used, how they will be reported, documented. And documentation here, we're talking of filing. I think I didn't stress on that part. Today, organizations do not just file hard copy records. We are digital, we want to decluster our spaces and all, but there must be a backup. So whatever you are saving on your computer as receipt or whatever should be duplicated across what? Save servers in cloud or whatever. But it still does not beat the physical documentation. You have to bring receipts for what was spent. You have to request for funds in this way. This is who you request funds from. This is who approves it. And this is the period you have to report these funds from when it was approved and when it was spent. So all these financial policy documents will have those details for a staff to guide the staff on what they should do when it comes to money, organizational money. The second recommendation is that staff members and even organization must have an open and a disciplined mind to comply with whatever the financial document is saying. Because it is one thing to have a financial document, it's another thing to comply with it. And this usually has to do with the top brass. The CEO may say, no, this document does not apply to me. I've invested heavily on this organization. It's time for my vacation. I have to just go and take money from there and use it for my personal use. No. It doesn't have to be that way. So the CEO must be disciplined enough to say, if I'm earning a salary from here, then it is a salary. What percentage of the money that the organization generates as profits will come to me as the founder or as the owner? It must also be stated. Then comply with those decisions. And it comes to a point where you feel it should be reviewed. Let it be reviewed within what? The workings of the organization, the happenings, the current stand, position, financial position of the organization. That, let's increase it from 20% to 30%. Can the organization afford that? The goals of the organization, the vision of the organization, will it permit the CEO to be able to take more than what was allocated in that document from the onset? So these are very important and very crucial places, because many startups fail by virtue of the fact that there is no financial discipline. So the law is not just for the staff and then the CEO is exempted. It is for everybody, so that there is compliance at all levels. The third recommendation is that Vishtech must invest in technology. Thank God that you are technology minded, but you need to invest in technology that will help to aid in your financial management. I have worked a little with Odo in an organization I worked with a while back for like 6 months. And this is what I saw about Odo is fascinating. I don't know if it still has the same features. It's been a few years now, and maybe they have upgraded also. Or maybe there are other applications that are better than it. But Odo is a platform at that time that I noticed. All staff members have an account, and it is like the office. Odo is now like the office, where everybody is on, technologically speaking. So a staff member requests and said, I've been approved to go on, or I want to go and visit site A, where our project is to take place. He sent it. This is a project officer now. He sends that information on Odo, where he's requesting. The information goes to his line manager. In this case, maybe the program manager. The program manager approves project, and in that application that the project officer is making, there has to be a place where he fills the finances he requires. So if you require finances, you add finances. So is required for the following process. I need 100 naira to buy this. I need so to transport. I need this for this. You outline it. You attach to your request. You send it. Program manager receives the information online. He also acknowledges and say approve. And the information goes to, let's say, for instance, the financial department, because money is involved. You have filled a financial document. So at the back end, the system is designed that everybody, anything you do, knows where it should go to. So your request will go to the finance people, and they will see who has approved it. An approving officer have approved that we should release 20 million to this officer to go about doing ABCDE. So they approve from the accounting and money transaction is initiated on the same platform and payments will come to you, to your account. Now, when you are done spending and doing the project, your reporting is still on the platform because it will be showing everybody concerned that you have opened a dialogue, money has been paid to you, for instance, from the financial angle, that you need to come back and retire what? That funds. You have to come back with documentation for that funds. So it is very, very important. You have to come back and say, okay, so 20,000 was approved for A, B, C, D, E. I spent 20 so amount for A. I spent so amount for B. And when you are finished, there is a place for you to attach documentation. So you start attaching your receipts and invoices or whatever it is. You attach, then you send. And once you send the documents, the approving officer will also do what? See it and either endorse or approve and say, okay, everything is in order. So you see, with that kind of a system, it becomes difficult not to have what? An effective way of managing funds. Because if you do not report any of the finances or your retirement does not check, if you have a balance that the organization is to pay you, the approving officer will see it, he will approve, you get your balance. If you are the one paying organization back, there is provision for you to go back and do it. So all that ties into what? An effective system that can work. Then consistent training and the training of staff on financial issue is also very, very important. You cannot say, oh, we have received training today from Mr. Moses and it's sufficient for us for the next 5 years. No. Let's come back next year. Let's come back in 2 years' time, 3 years' time. Consistently, let's continue to invest in training and retraining staff and reminding staff what they have to do per term as it relates to financial management. And as of course, the trend is changing. A new model may come for how these things should be done. It will be very, very crucial that staffs are brought aboard. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. And I don't know, I know I've shoot my time and I'm sorry about that. But please, if you have any question, I think this is the time for the microphones to be open so that the questions can fly in. Thank you.
Wow. I am short of words right now. It is intensive. My notepad is so full right now. I just keep jotting things. Let's take question now quickly. Does anyone ask question at the moment? Question? This Afsad's question. This Naomi question. This Kashaya question.
From my end, there's no question. I just have a comment to make. Thank you very much, Mr. Moses. Thank you for your session. This session holds a lot. I think it applies to both our personal lives and also Vishtech. And I feel from what I've heard from financial discipline and every other thing, budgeting, the forecast, the financial report and all, I think it would really help us. This is a training we really needed and we got it. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Naomi, for that. That was a good recommendation. And I have a question, sir, and it's regarding investment when it comes to financial management. What's your recommendation when it comes to pegging for investment, when it comes to threshold for investment, when it comes to the level of investment you should make as an organization per time, even if there are probably enough funds to make the investment, what do you recommend with regards to that? Should there be a threshold, or you can make as much as investments as possible. That's talking from the organization standpoint. I don't know if you get that. Sorry, your mic is muted, Mr. Moses.
Okay, yes. Sorry about that. I had to quickly attend to someone. It's not easy to work from home. You get distracted here and there. All right. So your questions are it's on whether there should be a threshold for what investment.
Yes.
Okay.
Either tangible assets or intangible assets.
All right. Everything still boils down to planning. As an organization that is coming on board, you have your vision. I don't know if you have your strategic document yet, but your strategic document should speak to the answer to you for this question you're asking me. So a strategic document is a roadmap to how we are going to achieve our vision. It can be a 3 years. I think the minimum usually is like 3 years strategic document. Some have 5 years and all that. So you can actually come together as a team and you work out what your strategy document will look like. So from that strategy document, I believe one of the things you want to outline is your growth prospects, which is where your investment, your questionnaire is coming in. So you're outlining, for instance, for example, that we want to invest in let me use expansion. I've been talking about expansion a lot today. So we want to expand in the next 3 to 5 years. We want to see Vishtech in all the regions of Nigeria. So that is you having 6 offices and maybe Abuja being the headquarters. So that's 7 spaces. These 7 spaces will cost money because there will be personnel. There will be a need for personnel in each of the branches. There will be a need for an office space unless you want to work remotely consistently, okay? But office space is crucial. These are 2 big things you will need for your expansion plan. So your strategic document will have a clause for expansion. How are we going to expand? We want to be in the region, every region of Nigeria. That's 7 regions. What will it entail? What is the finances that we're going to keep aside for this purpose? Remember when I started my conversation, I said within a year, if you are to look at your operations for just a year, right, you will come up with what we call an operational plan. Now, an operational plan is actually an offshoot of your strategy, your 3 years or your 5 year strategy. So if in 3 years, this is what we want to do, right? The first year, what will you focus on? The second year, what will you focus on? The third year, which is the roundup year, what will you focus on? This is where we want to be in 3 years, in a manner of speaking. This is where we want to be in 3 years. So what will ensure we are where we want to be in 3 years? You outline those things, okay? When you outline them, you now outline and allocate timing. I think someone was speaking about goal setting. I missed that session. I don't know if he addressed this aspect. You allocate timing to your what? To this item. Okay, so in the first year is this is what we want to achieve. We just want to strengthen our staff capacity in the first year. We want to ensure that every of our staff goes through training. What kind of training will it be? You have to identify it in that document. Okay, so in a year, in each year of the 3 years, you have an operational document. So this is now taking away from the 3 years and focusing on what you do in the first year. Now, and that is where your innovation comes in. What are the things you want to innovate for? How much do we think we want to spend on it? You would have already answered that, or you would have already made your estimate for that. So there is no cap for how much should be invested in innovation. There should be no cap. And when I mean by no cap, it's not that you should carry the entire money of the organization, of course, and sink into it. But it should be carefully construed that this should be sufficient. So let me give you a much more direct answer. From our profits that we'll make this year, we should be able to say 20% will be put back into the organization for the purpose of what? Investing in ideas, investing in expansion. That's that's an approach. But I can't tell you you cannot do higher than that or lesser than that because I don't have all the details and all the factors before me. But that is a simple way of answering that as an organization, you can have a policy as a CEO that says 20%, 30% of every profit we make will be kept for the purpose of expansion or investing in new ideas. And so it will be. You know that when you make 100 million, you know that 20 million is for investment. You don't have to struggle with that. You just need to go and abide by what? Your financial regulation that says 20% of profit goes to innovation. And so it is easy for you now to cost what that innovation is and allocate funds to it. But you know that there's a 20 million that is there for it. I hope that answers you, sir, because I tried to use the long route and it seems I don't have all the information. But with this example, I hope it is clear.
Very well, very well, very well. Thank you so much for that concise answer. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Yeah. So anybody have any other question, please? Okay. Uh, for anyone who have questions and probably it's not coming now, you can always drop the question. I'll forward it to Mr. Moses and you get the answer. Thank you so much, sir. This is a very, very intensive section. Um, and personally, I love the practicality in the section when it comes to how it applies. And I said when I mentioned this in your intro section, that this your section really confirmed what I mentioned about your 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 wealth and weight of experience. I love the fact that it was well connected into practicality, and we as Vishtech, we as an entity, as a brand, we look forward to applying these things going forward and see that we deliver the best. And we want to also, I also again want to invite my colleagues. This is a very, very impactful section, not just even for our work here in Vishtech, but even for personal, development and professional development on a personal note. So please, I, I appreciate this time given to us. We really, really appreciate this time given to us. I know how busy you are, and for you to stay to this time, despite the fact that you were a bit delayed. Thank you so much, and we really, really appreciate this. Thank you, sir. And we also hope that we would have the grace to have you around at any point in time where we need to advance in one or two concepts that you have shared here, or for any further training, because I know you are power packed. There is a lot we can learn from you, and I can't wait to have the team learn so much from you. So I just want to plead, I want to hope that you will just have the grace to be with us again at any time to call upon you, sir.
Absolutely. I'm here for Vishtech. If you, from my profile that you read, we support anything that is young people driven, and our desire is that it will succeed. One of the things we wake up from bed to is to see how we can bridge the gap between what young people are aspiring to be and their current state. And so for Vishtech, it is not far from it as well. You are aspiring to do great things. We will see how, or I will see how I can personally be of help and support to you. Please call me anytime you feel that there are things that fall within my sphere of influence and experience, and of course, I'll be happy anytime to share. And thank you also for the opportunity uh, to have spoken because I don't think we interacted much with the team. Please pardon me. I'm sure I would master this technology and know why the team wasn't allowing me to see your names while I was presenting. But we would work around it and ensure that next time we will make it as much more interactive as possible. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate. Um, I could remember there was a time where, well, you brought me on board on the project, and there were some difficulties around the financial status, financial capacity for that project, and you were
Yes.
able to navigate through, you're able to manage it, and honestly, it stood out for me. And I always refer to that at every point in time you speak to us on financial management. You are a true example to that. And this is what really inspired me to plead with you to please come talk to us about it. It is a
Wow.
very, very tough experience. I'm trying to share this with my team to say that for those, for every guest that has put to us today, that we've heard from today, they are people who have practical experience with these things, and they are sharing with us to help us develop personally and also collectively as an organization. This particular project I was referring to, it was a very tough situation, but I was able to calmly
Yeah.
scale through because of proper planning and management. And this is the same thing I shared with us now. I can see some of those things you applied there playing out in your conversation during your section. And thank you for sharing, thank you for opening up to us. You didn't hide anything from us, and I can see it. Thank you so much, and it means a lot to Vishtech. We are so grateful, and we look forward to greater things that we'll do together. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Please,
Yeah.
you can open your mic, everyone, and please appreciate Mr. Moses. Please, everybody, just a word of appreciation, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Moses, for the presentation.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Mr.
Yeah, you're
Moses.
welcome, Naomi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moses.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you, Adelana. And
Yes.
Ishaya as well. I see Ishaya,
Thank you for
Roberts
the
as well. And thank you all for listening. Yeah.
So much, sir. Thank you once again. And we are gradually approaching the end of this section to continue tomorrow. And I'm trying to see if I can. Okay. So okay. Okay, so tomorrow we meet again by 10 a.m. Please let's keep the time so that we can round up early. And apologies, we had to spend extra time. It's worth it if you ask me. But if this affect any of your personal schedule, please take our apologies, and we hope to do quite better tomorrow in terms of the timing. The 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 the, the, the courses were quite intensive. We actually requested for an overview so that we can have intensive training later on each of those courses. But they actually came to give us even beyond what we requested for. So we couldn't stop them from expressing those thoughts because they were actually quality. I think I was sharing with the HR unit. These are expensive courses that these guys came to give us for free. These are the big investments from the management end, but then these guys came to give it to us without paying the worth of what it would be if we had to really pay the real amount for all these courses. So please maximize it. This is a lot, I understand. We try to share the slide for you to go through it on your personal time and train yourself. This is one of the best things you can get from Vishtech capacity building. Okay, and please maximize it. We have not just given you this training for you to just hear stuff and go do things the way you like. No, this is for you to build yourself and be more intentional in everything you do. So once again, thank you for staying true to this time. Thank you, Ade, for staying true. Thank you, Naomi, for staying true. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ms. Afsa. Thank you for staying true to this point. I understand it's way beyond the time we scheduled for, but I think if you ask me, it's worth it. It's worth it. So we'll meet again by 10 tomorrow to have our IVVN HRP And then again by 10:30 we have our TTE. We'll have our TBCM by 11 o'clock, which is the last stage. And we have an hardcore stage we have an hardcore section by 11:30 to 12, which is the TMP. We have distinguished guests coming tomorrow from Kenya and Canada. So please, 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 I want us to brace up ourselves and be ready to learn great stuffs tomorrow, like international stuffs. So this is international standard we are aiming at, and this is what we are getting. So please, please be a part of this journey. And if you have any question on any of the sections so far, feel free to drop it on my DM and I'll pass it across to the facilitator for answers. Does anybody have a comment to make, any question to make, so that we can round up and take our lunch? Anybody?
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. You know, actually, I didn't learn today. I don't know about others, but I was jotting. I almost fill up my book. Actually, the training was very intense. I really enjoy it. Actually, yeah. But regarding to that, I don't know about the timing. I don't. I know you talk about it, but so what do you have to say about this section was supposed to end by 12. This is 1:30 for this even to 2. And you can see some people left. So will you blame them for leaving, or maybe we just say okay because we exited time and there's no need to like start correcting them.
Okay. Thank you for raising that. Yeah. I think you already answered the question, even from the point you started from. This was beyond our control. That's number one. Because in the invitation letter, it was all stated, the timing and all. And of course, the first point was out of our control. But the second point is, was it worth it? You made mention that you learned a lot. And one of the things I think we should appreciate for now is the fact that we are getting these things without even paying for it. None of us here made any payment. So let me be trained on this particular. These are premium courses that we pay for to get people to train us. So these people are coming with value. So the question is, should we? Yes, even for the first speaker, I sent him almost three notifications for him to round up way before he rounded up. But was there anything I could have done to stop him, or the admin would have done to stop him? No, because he needed to teach out that value to us. Yes, we are working with time, but if the truth of the matter is, if we really want to learn, sometimes we also have to sacrifice certain things. And that is one culture that we must imbibe. That's one attitude we must imbibe. It is what we call grit. It's what we call growth mindset. We have to imbibe growth mindset. At that point, what do we do? I know it's not convenient. I know it's not comfortable again at that point. But the question is, what do we do at that point? Should we stop them from talking? Should we stop them from giving us those values? Those values are very rich. They are very, very rich, and they are international standards. So, and this is building us. You don't know where you'll find yourself tomorrow, and you will need to use this value, to use these skills. So I won't blame those who left. I understand everybody have their personal stuff doing, but this is just an indication for what we become in the future. That's the truth. Just imagine we gather. This is a physical meeting that we gathered. We do part of stuff and leave the room. You know, it only shows true passion for what you, for what you're doing here. It's only show true passion. You know, is it convenient for those that stayed? No, but then you just have to do what you have to do. You just have to make decision on what you want to do. If you feel this is out of my schedule, I can't stay longer. It's okay, because it's cool. Nobody's gonna hold you back. You can go, you can do your stuff. Are you gaining value? If you ask me, I'll say yes. If I have stuff to do, I know a whole lot. In fact, I am 1 hour behind a target test I'm supposed to take right now, which may affect my results. I don't mind. Get the result I get from the reading. I don't mind, but then because I know I'm getting value for this. So it all depends on priorities and what you want to do. So nobody is going to enforce your decision. You have the decision to make. So if you want to leave, you leave. Okay? If you want to stay, you stay. So I'm not going to blame anyone for leaving. I'm not going to blame anyone for staying. I'm only going to appreciate everyone for what you do. Either you stay, either you leave. So if you leave, you might have a better things to attend to, or you have stuff you cannot avoid to attend to. Some of these these guests that we brought, some of them are very big. In fact, Engineer Peter is the CEO of Legend. I know you know the organization, doing great in Abuja. They're changing the status quo in Abuja right now. He's a very busy guy, but this man stayed all through this meeting. I don't know if you noticed. Was part of this meeting all through. Because he has been giving comment to each of the sections in my DM. You understand what we are getting for free here. I can even share you the screenshot of what he said. The first time we invited him, he said, we are doing a whole lot for our staff at this stage. So it's a very encouraging thing to hear, because we know that because of our vision, because of what we stand for, we want to invest as much as possible. Yeah, so as I said, at every point in time we gather like this, please, if you're not getting value for your time, don't indicate, don't tell me to stop talking, or to tell our guests to stop talking. You can leave. You understand? Please, I want us to imbibe this culture and attitude from the onset. The structure we have built. It's a very, very insulting and embarrassing thing when a value is being pitched out and you're not grabbing those values. Instead of buying this value, you have a fixed mindset. You are taking up value to taking more time. Please, I don't want to be seeing those comments again. Please, and I don't want to be hearing them again. But when we are spending more time, especially when we are gaining value or we are in very exclusive meetings. Okay, so if you want to leave, you can leave. It's all good, it's all fine. But do you get value? Let us know. If you're not getting value, let's see how we work on the strategy, we work on the guest, we work on the topic. So I don't know if I'm able to cover that in depth.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, the answer I gave is a general answer to everyone. Yeah, not spotting out anybody, but I'm giving a general answer to everyone. Personally, I've been having meetings as early as 8 a.m. my own time since morning up to now. I've missed my breakfast, I've missed my lunch, but it is what it is. So whatever defines this is what defines my own passion. So look for what defines your passion. Let's face it. So I think all the best. We'll meet tomorrow again. Please have a good day ahead and have a great time. And please, we are going to be sending out some feedback form later. Give your feedback. Stay your mind, okay? Feel free. Nobody's holding you back. And we'll see how we can improve from our own hand for the ones we can control. Okay? Please take time, take a good day, have a good day ahead rather, and take time to reflect on whatever you've learned today. Thank you and bye.